so much. Thank you. Karibuni sana. Feel at home. As we were doing interlude, karibu. Yes. No, you just sit or stand. Which way? Sorry about that. My phone was on. Kindly put your phones on silent. We were chukuring something and putting it somewhere. Let me just fill you in. And I think it's in line with what we are going to have today. Very important where we chukua and where we give us that one. Even our guests will show us where they chukua and that's it. Karibu sana. Karibu sana Madam Maria. Karibu kae na upande huu. Karibu sana. Anaweka. We are going to do in bits, now that the host is finally here. She's going to show us where we put hand. Nimewambia it is in line. It is in line with the theme ya hii meeting. Si hivyo? So there is a song Madam Maria. Najua maybe ushaisikia that wanachukua wanaweka. So you must set the precedence. Mali we chukua and we put. And then we will go here and then there and then we keep for our meeting. Haya, daktari usiogope. Bidaya kuna mtu. Makofi kwao. Anachukua, anaweka. Wow, makofi kwao. We are also doing this here. We are also doing here. Rebecca has it. Our speaker has it. Anaweka. Unaweka wapi? Unaweka. Makofi kwake. Wow. This thing. Le général Dangote. Engineer. Tunataka kuona where you chukua and where you put. Simply unaweka hapa. Some people put it here. Naona Madam Rebecca ameweka huku. Some people do like this. Did they give us everyone? Good morning once again. Now we are going to have one of our own. Mercy, is Mercy in the house for a word of prayer? Mercy? Mercy karibu.
What? Let us bow our hands, our heads and pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we come before thy holy name, O God. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your mercies this morning, everlasting Jehovah. We commit each and everybody who is gathered here, O Jehovah God. May you allow your blessings and your mercies to be upon us, O God. As we start this meeting, everlasting Jehovah, Father, may you come and be with us, O God. Guide us in each and everything, O Father. Whatever that you are going to speak here, O Jehovah, Lord, let you allow your mercies to be upon us, O Jehovah, King of all glory. We guide your guidance, O my Father. Let you start with us. And in Jesus' name we do pray and we believe. Amen.
Thank you. Let us remain seated. Mercy, Masika, please. Thank you very much, everyone. My name's Caroline Anyango Opondo. If you didn't know the second name, now you know. And I work under administration here in Olkaria. I'm one of your own, more especially under hospitality for those who are new here. I'm also your MC of the day, and I believe it's going to be an interactive section. So, mujisikie mko huru. We are here to interact, as I have said. It's not. It's an interactive forum or session. So, without much ado, we are going to welcome our very own our president, Pink Energy, Dr. Anna Mwangi. Karibu sana daktari. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Carol. Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure. Okay. It's such a pleasure to be standing right here in front of you. And another occasion, we just met with most of you last July for the law of succession. And now we are here yet again for another wonderful session focusing on ourselves, mental health. So I must thank all of you for coming today to hear and take care of ourselves, how we can help others in our families and in our workplace and different other places. So for me, it's such an honor to have you here, and hoping that this will be a very wonderful session. We have very wonderful speakers who will be taking us through this session in a panel discussion. And this event came about because we had a talk with the YGen officials and the Pink Energy officials, and we realized that we have a common activity together. So we said we can combine and see if we can leverage and see if we can cover the event, because things about mental health, they don't discriminate from children all the way to old age. And it's good for us to keep ourselves informed on what we can do, including taking care of our families. Many of us here are taking responsibility at home or externally in the community. So for me, it's just a pleasure. Before I continue, I'd like to call upon Catherine, so because she's part of us, Catherine Leach. I think we are the officials here for Pink. So far, we're just the two of us. She's my vice chair, and she's also the acting chair for the YGen. So she can say a few remarks before I get to introduce Maria.
Thank you, Anna. Good morning, everybody. As you've heard, my name is Catherine Leach. I'm so happy to see you. I'm currently the vice chairperson of Pink Energy and also the vice chairperson of YGen. And currently, I'm acting as the chairperson for YGen. So for those of you who are new, let me just say that YGen is the arm of the company that caters for all employees under 35 years of age. So this is the youth mainstreaming aspect, and it has 4 pillars. So one, it's about Kengen strategy alignment. The other one is on the brand, on the wellness, and finally the fourth one is on Pamoja. So this year, on 12th of August, the world marked the International Youth Day. And unfortunately, because we were in the electioneering period, we were not able to mark the day here. And that's why it was very exciting to have this opportunity to partner with Pink Energy and just mark this day, because the theme had to do with intergenerational solidarity. It's about creating a world for all ages. And when you think about mental health, I think it cuts across everybody. You as a young person, as you transition to an adult, and also as you age. So this common ground is why we are here, and we're so happy our three to an exciting discussion, insight, and just good memories on how best we can live a better life. And we'll be here all through.
Yes, so thank you so much, Catherine. Has given us a brief overview of what YGen is all about. And so without much further ado, I would like to welcome Miss Maria, our HR. She's been really supportive of us. We are under her, Pink Energy at YGen. So also thanking you because you make all this possible, you and the team. So welcome so much. Thank you, Catherine. We've just remembered that we have not had a safety brief. Yes. So before I call you Maria, my apologies. Let me call one of our safety people, Ken Karibu sana, and give us a safety brief so that we are aware of our surroundings and what to do in case of any eventualities. Karibu sana.
And you're going to pay a fine for being reminded. God is good and all the time. Is there some allergy around here? Or situation awareness, eh? Yeah? There must be a hazard there. Indio. How are we? You're good? Look at your neighbor. If he's somebody you don't know, you can ask them their first name. As you say hi. That one is called environmental awareness. Sindio? That is going to be the person to respond if you have an emergency. Sasa, tumemaliza hiyo. Now, as I was waiting for the event to start, I saw something on net, and I just want to share with you. Certain shades can be considered cool colors. Regardless, pink and blue actually tend to go quite well with one another if the right shades are chosen. Nimewafundisha kitu leo. So when you mix those two colors, what do you get? 0 out of, you get purple, which incidentally is one of our colors. Sawa sawa. That aside, I want you to be safe. The first thing you are going to look at is to maintain the seating arrangements as we have designed. This is meant to minimize chances of tripping. Okay? And like we always said, if you trip, try to manage the fall. Also, if you must fall, try to manage the fall, but avoid it. Also, usianguke na kichwa. Right? I would prefer that we spread around. That is preferred. I see some of us are sitting very close to the entrance strategically to get more access to fresh air. Or what is the strategy? Yeah, so eventually let us spread so that we can also occupy these seats, because we are paying for all of them. Please look around. We have some fasteners that we have used to secure the tent. Ensure that you don't step on any sharp objects so that you don't get injuries on your legs. Also, we always have the risk of fire because of the fuel around us. In the event of a fire, we are very close to the emergency assembly point, just the lawn outside there. Yeah. So as you exit, don't go to the room or to the offices. Just assemble there as you wait for the rest of us to take care of the scene. Any medical emergencies, we will respond as usual. Our clinic is next to the facility, and I'm sure we should be able to accommodate any other medical emergencies. I know nowadays we rarely talk about COVID because it's something that we are slowly overcoming. We have encouraged all our staff to get the booster shot. I know we have a few who are yet to get the second dose. Please ensure that you get the booster shot. That is the only way for you to guarantee your response or your immunity. So, how many of us have gotten the booster shot? That's not very good. We forgot to invite a second on the team. Yeah, I think that is one of the issues that we might want to take home, we encourage our youth to ensure that they take charge of their immunity. With those few remarks, I expect us to be safe, but we will be around to ensure that in the event of any incident, we are able to take care of that as we run through the program for this important exercise. Any clarifications, questions? Are we good? Okay. Karibuni sana.
Thank you, Ken, for the safety brief. And I believe we are all safe. We can continue having that in mind, especially in case of any eventuality. So now, without much further ado, as I said, Miss Maria, our assistant HR manager, thank you so much because of what you've done. You help us a lot planning these events, being very supportive. Usually there's a lot of work behind it, and we want to appreciate you. So we want to invite you here and give us a few remarks. Welcome.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Okay, what can I say? We, as part of the team for HR and the rest of my team, we are very excited actually to be here. One, because YGen and Pink Energy is both forums that are established under our diversity program. We really want to manage our diversity better within the organization, and yes, these forums are supported by us. So we're very excited whenever they have an event. And also, more importantly, the subject of discussion today. Mental health is a big issue, guys. Every day on social media, everywhere on TV, we're seeing cases of suicide. We're seeing lots of violence happening indeed in our society. And we need to be able to understand where this is coming from, one. And two, how do we manage our stress levels? How do we manage ourselves better so that we don't find ourselves in situations where we are acting out in the way in which we are seeing. So for those that are here today, unfortunately we're not able, are we recording? Oh, great. So for those that are not able to join us, we will send the recording a little later so that they're able to at least follow through on the discussion. So thank you, Anna and Catherine, for bringing an exciting group, diverse group that will be talking to us today. I can't wait for us to get into the actual discussion. But I think you'll agree with me that mental health is a big issue, and this should be one of our priority initiatives this year, just to see whether we are giving people the right coping mechanisms to be able to cope with what life is throwing at us, because we all experience life differently, but we need to learn how to manage our issues better. Yeah, so without much ado, Anna, please take over the session. Let me give the apologies of the GM. He'll be joining us a little later. He's actually held up in another activity, but as soon as he's able, he will join us. So I think we can proceed in the meantime. Thank you.
A bigger hand of applause for Miss Maria. She's with the budget, so we want to encourage her. So thank you again. So now we will just go straight to the event. And how we have ordered it, we're going to have a panel discussion with our speakers. So who will be invited here on the stage. And to do that, I'll invite Miss Catherine to proceed to the stage and kindly invite our wonderful speakers. And I'll join you there.
Thank you, Anna. I'm so excited to have our speakers with us. The first person I'd like to call to the stage is none other than Madam Monicah Karanja. She is a general counseling therapist with an emphasis in drug and alcohol counseling. She is also certified by the California Consortium of Addiction Programs and Profession, and currently certified by the Kenya Counseling and Psychological Association. She actually has 5 years of counseling experience and over 20 years in the business industry. She runs actually a facility which is just next door, the Simply Connect out of Africa, a rehab center. And also she is, she actually has a lot of experience beyond therapy. She is in business. She is a CEO and a founder. Karibu sana Monicah. So a hand of applause for her. Then the next person, whom most of you might be knowing, is Rebecca Wanyonyi. She is part of the Kenyan family. She is a counseling psychologist and also a member of the Kenya Association of Professional Counselors. And her area of counseling includes, thank you, Caro, for the support. Yeah. Yeah. Her area of specialization includes stress management, change management, family therapy for children and adolescents, marital therapy, loss and grief counseling, group counseling, and she's also a certified professional mediator. So Rebecca, karibu sana. Then our next speaker is a gentleman. He's called Joe Mwangi. I understand he's very popular. So I'm expecting a bit of shouts and screams for him. Yeah. He's actually a motivational speaker with over 8 years of experience. He's an author, an artist, and today he's going to share with us such wonderful tales to bring the context of this conversation. So Joe, karibu. Another hand of applause. And I'll be moderating this session with Dr. Anna. I'm not going to give her so many titles. So karibu, doctor. So Anna will start the session for us, and we'll proceed.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Before I start, I would like to give apologies for Dr. Oroko once more. He's a psychiatrist, but he got ill this morning, so he couldn't join us. So we're going to have these wonderful 3 speakers, and we hope that this session will be interactive. Welcome all speakers. So I will just start, and maybe I can start from home. Allow us. I'd like to ask Ms. Rebecca, could you give us maybe an overview of mental health and why mental health is important? I know most people here in the audience, they are self-acclaimed doctors. They know how to diagnose when it comes to common cold. They know what to do. So tell us a little bit more of mental health. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. For me, as the career said, as one of us, first of all, to just understand of mental health. Kenyan, the fact that we have an in-house counselor by itself tells us there's something about mental health in our organization, isn't it? Yeah? So that tells as an organization, there was a need that they felt like we needed to handle the issue of mental health because we were not doing very well. So far from since the COVID issues to this particular time, we've had a lot of issues in line with the mental health. We emphasized a lot during the period for the COVID. We're still doing this time. We've had a lot of cases of us as a company having issues of alcoholism, a little bit going higher. We've had cases of issues to do with even suicide, especially among even ourselves as a company. So there's all this a very big issue to do with our mental health. What affects how we think and do things will definitely affect our productivity. So that is the reason why we are emphasizing on mental health. What I'll speak more about us as a company when it comes to mental health is just identifying what are we doing as an organization, how far have we been in the state of the organization in terms of mental health. So far with our percentages, we are not in a good place. And maybe that is why we should have more campaigns in line with mental health. So I will just say mental health as terms of taking care of ourselves on how we think, and also how it helps us in terms of our productivity at work or place, is what really is the core thing behind us being more productive.
So just a follow-up, how does one recognize that they need to either seek help or maybe understand that something is wrong? Like, what are these indicators? And mainly from a clinical perspective, is it something that genetically we have, you find that other people are more prone, or are there environmental factors? Could you help us distinguish why anyone would find themselves, suffering from this, especially when when in the middle age, something like that?
Now we all call we have a discussion like what's wrong with Becky? That is easy, just move on, and you're surprised what is the problem with this other person. It's just your child, chapper. Others will chapper and life will move on, isn't it? Others will pack their things and leave their spouses, there's no problem. Others, they will be beaten and they will never go anywhere. Yeah? And it's the discussion we wonder between, that alone tells us we are different and we handle things in a different way. Different circumstances will handle issues in our childhood, how we were brought up, our self-esteem, how we view ourselves again, will come a long way to how to cope with the kind of situation. What is very important is for us to understand each and every person copes with things differently. We might not necessarily know what caused it, but we have to know that we have psychological issues that will affect it. We have environmental issues that will affect it. We have more of even, your self-esteem, how you view yourself will also affect how you can here and there. What, again, as we had discussed, you should understand yourself. How can you cope with it? And whatever you have done, is it working? How can you change? So it comes back to you can be able to see how you can handle a situation. And you'll start by understanding yourself. Yeah, what can you do? What can you not do? Where can I need to seek assistance? Where you feel you cannot be able to handle it, you can seek assistance where you can be directed. Okay.
Kate, you can do another follow-up.
Thank you, Rebecca, for the insight. I'm happy you've mentioned about the environmental aspect. And I think when you talk about the mental health aspect, of course there are myths, there are things, the perceptions, the stigma that is there. And let's take a case in point, the boy child in this scenario, where the women are more open to sharing their thoughts, and you're talking about being more aware. I'm also curious, how does it look like from the side of the guy? And I would like to invite Joe at this point to kindly shed some light, probably from his own life, and then we can see how it looks like at this point. Thank you, Joe.
My way of looking at the issues mental health and the areas concerned around that issue is basically emotional. I think about it as emotional fuel. That there is something that drives us. There is something that keeps us going. Like we eat food to be able to live, to have energy to do things. that no matter how spiritual you are, if you don't eat food, you will die. Because your body lacks, it lacks the required energy to live on. And we will take water to be able to furnish our health. So even if you are a very bad person and you're eating, you might live. Even if you are not a good person, even if you are a witch, if you eat well, you will be very healthy. You will be a healthy witch. Because that is what is needed for that. Now the question is, what does our spirit feed on? Because we are not just like only physical. We also are actually spiritual beings. And that is what now drives us. Like what Madam Becky said, that how we think determines how we do things. And that is the headquarter. If the head office is not good, all the other offices will not be fine. And that is where I think we can anchor the issue of mental health on the area of emotional fuel. If you buy a Range Rover, personally I do love Range Rover, though I don't have, but I love it. I might get one. And you buy a very nice Range Rover and it doesn't have fuel. A guy on a motorbike will leave you on the road. Hata utatuma mtu wa pikipiki akuletea mafuta. Na pikipiki yake, even one tire of a Range Rover, it cannot buy. Meaning, a person who could be very poor, poorer than you financially, can be living a better life than you. Because they have emotional fuel. And so the question is, we feed our bodies on food, physical food, what we eat, to have a balanced diet, to live a good life health-wise. What about our mind? What does our mind feed on? So if people are going to be mentally ill, it is because of what they are feeding on. And if we can change on what we are feeding on, then we can change our mental health. Because if you are mentally unhealthy, it's because we have been feeding badly. Are we together? Maybe you are having mental kwashiako, if this. Okay, that's not the right term. Of course, there are terms for that from the psychologist. They will tell you that. But me, I come from a motivational perspective. Me, I'm an inspirational speaker. I psych people. And I psych people in a country where people are suspicious of motivation. And people say, I have seen something on the social media. Jamaa kona baiskeli anavuruta lori. Hasa watu wameandika hapo after listening to motivational speakers. I think they are trying to tarnish our name. So being seated here with you people and you being suspicious of motivation, I want to say this. You cannot do away with motivation. Because how else can you move forward? What will psych you up to go into tomorrow? And remember, we are not born to succeed. We are born to survive. The human mind is not made for success. That is why you don't like waking up. You like sleeping. So to be able to succeed, it is against the laws of nature. And because of that, it puts us at a point of imbalance. So that's what I would say to start with. Then we proceed on from there. Thank you.
An amazing quote there, which I'm going to be applying every morning when I don't want to wake up. I say it's my nature. But yes, very good point. And just as a follow-up, and going on to Monicah, I know you are very near us, right next door, and we would like to ask you at this point, yes, how did you end up in Naivasha, and specifically where you are right now?
Thank you, Dr. Ari. As you've heard, my name is Monicah, and I also like to describe myself as a recovering alcoholic. I ended up in Naivasha because I wanted to start a treatment facility to help people who need help getting out of addiction. My parents do not live too far from here. We have a farm up in the hill. They're resting in peace. But I wanted to be by the lake because the healing, there's a healing ambience by the lake. And I wanted to see if I can reach out to people who feel hopeless or feel like alcohol or whatever substance people choose to engage in is the only way to cope with their situations. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. I felt that way at one point. My life was hopeless. I was in a very abusive relationship, but you know, I got used to it because it was a comfort zone for me. But I decided to be uncomfortable to get out of the big Range Rover. I actually drove one, and I still do. I drive a Land Rover now. I mean, I had the house, the husband, the 2 kids. So, you know, outside it looked really good. I mean, everything was okay. But inside, I was killing myself slowly. I was dying. I was getting beaten. I was covering up that pain by drinking even more. And the more I drank, the more I got abused. But because it's a cycle, it worked for me at that time. I didn't know what to do. So when I finally surrendered, I went to treatment in a rehabilitation center, and I started helping other people who were giving up. Because at that point I had no money. I had drunk it all. So I had to go to a county-funded facility where the food was really bad, and we were doing it ourselves. We were getting donations for food. So I had surrendered, and I wanted my life to be better. So it didn't matter where I was. What mattered is I wanted a different life. I wanted to feel differently. I wanted me to be me. I did not want to live under the Range Rover guy because he controlled everything I did. So for me to separate myself, to have my own identity, I had to lose everything that I thought was near and dear to me. And today, nothing is more important to me than my own peace. Like waking up in the morning and just being at peace cannot surpass any substance that I can put in my body. I'm not sure if that's enough.
Powerful. That's really, really powerful. And knowing that we all have a story to tell, all of us here. And so it's quite inspiring to see how far you've come, and you're coming here to encourage us. And many of us have different struggles, so thank you very much for sharing that. And just as a follow-up, as I come to Rebecca, I'll also ask you your personal story. What inspired you to take up the career that you have and actually end up in Kenyan?
How did I? First of all, my mom wanted me to be a lawyer. I used to think I'll be a lawyer. I ended up in my career because I didn't perform very well. Everybody performed very well. I passed, I got a C+. So and my mom was easy, because like, if you are here, I will pay half, you know. So what can you do? So they brought a lot of courses I can do. So it was a trial and error. So during the holidays, I was waiting for the results. You know, that time I was told there's a course, a short course in counseling. You could just go and try. So I went there and I did something for 3 days. By the time I was to join more university. Said we do educate. I didn't want to be a teacher. Though my father really believed I would have been a good teacher. I didn't want to be a teacher. So I went to more university, enrolled for my degree in counseling. I liked it. That was it. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll do better in counseling. And that comes back. Have you ever had people give choices because you don't know where to put you know? So I accidentally landed in doing psychology, which I did, and I loved it. Yeah, in the process. And now being very young, for me it has been a very good learning lesson. From doing counseling and learning, and from my background, I came from a very strong Christian background, so everything was a shocker. People talk about cheating, I'm shocked. People talk about drinking, I'm shocked. People are talking about lying, I'm shocked because we were trained not to. So I had to learn. Then the more I grew, the more the experience I got, the more I loved counseling, the more I I loved it and grew with it. And I think with the few who have interacted with me, man, I'm a good therapist. I can assist. Apparently I can also teach. So counseling, for me, my journey has not been pushed towards because of something. I would say it was just as a by the way, but in the process, I've learned to love it, and I've learned to be able to enjoy it, and I'm doing a very good job in it. So I love helping people, and I love teaching people and about counseling. So that's how I became a therapist myself. Yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca. Actually, I'm so happy you touched about your parents and what they wanted. And also, Monicah, when you mentioned that you got comfortable in that situation at that point. So my question is, how do parents influence some aspects of their children's life to levels that could be considered stressful? And also, how do you distinguish having stress and the different mental health conditions that exist? So maybe Monicah, you can start off.
Thank you for that question, Catherine. I feel that our parents really do not have very good information in this day and age. We're not recognizing that our children are getting a lot of information through the social media. So instead of giving orders and reprimanding our children for not following our orders, it's good to have a conversation, because our children, believe it or not, are very intelligent, and even God created them individually. We want God, when God gave us our children, He did not give us a manuscript on how to raise His kids, but we however have one, right? We have ideas on how they should behave, where they should go to school, and what careers we want for them. So we kind of outline everything that we wanted for ourselves onto our children, and kind of that impacts our kids differently and negatively. So it's good to have a conversation with children and figure out how they want to pursue their own journeys, since we're all created individually and uniquely.
Okay, what I can say about parents and their influence on what finally their children become, or what they wish them to become, mostly is driven by fear. Fear is a big business. Fear is a big reason why we do things, because we are afraid that they will fail. So we are so afraid. And because we are so afraid now, we must help them, because we are very afraid. And that is the biggest reason we have something called career misplacement. In Kenya, there is Kenya University and College placement. You are placed. You will be placed where you don't want. And because of career misplacement, we end up in careers we don't like, and we have career frustration. People doing jobs they just wake up to do. There is no connection, there is no passion, and you are just one of the many machines in Kenya. There is no you. Are you getting what I'm talking about? So you are mechanically here, but socially you are dying because you are doing the thing that is not yours. So when it comes to that, it also comes back to the person understanding themselves, being able to stand up and say, this is me. So that you don't have career confusion as a person before others can place you. Are you getting that? So parents are good. Me, I don't have a problem with parents. My dad is a teacher. My mother is a teacher. Na wewe kama mzazi wako ni mwalimu ni vizuri. Lakini wakikuwa wawili ni kama kulelewa staff room. Life kicks off when it's already very hard. Because teachers by nature, they are perfectionists. And teachers believe in things going right. Because they are trained to mark. So they mark even your life. So you can imagine the pressure I had, even as a child, that you must go right. There is no chance for mistake. And that is why teachers make the worst business people in the world. Because they correct everything until they do nothing about their business ideas and anything else. Are we together? That is the same fear that actually I was brought up with. The fear of making mistakes. And I think without that fear, I would have done even much better. Maybe even ventured even further. And my dad did not talk to me for a long time, like 2-3 weeks, for refusing to do teaching. So I went to the university to do a different course. I did a bachelor's in tourism management in the School of Business and Economics that time. I later worked for the Standard Chartered Bank for a short time. But I was doing against my father's wish. So there was like an emotional tug of war. Like I am never what my dad wanted me to be. And then finally, like after working for 4 months, I was tired. I just resigned. And I went nowhere. I went home. Because I was done with that part of life. Now it is me. I'm an artist. Najua kuchora. Na nitachora watu. Now nimekuja kuchora watu na sijui kuchora kabisa. So unachora mtu anasema si yeye. You know you have to convince huyu mtu ni wewe. Where you have to tell someone you are the one. Ujijui kabisa. That's the career confusion I faced in life. To be able to be the speaker I am right now, it is other people who identified me and say, hey, guy, you talk so nice. That's like a speaker. I'm telling you, I was discovered by other people. So sometimes you allow space to be discovered by other people, even in your career growth. And then you talked about how do you really know that this is stress against other issues of psychology and so forth. I think of seeking guidance from people that are in that field. It is good. Because sometimes you could be thinking you know yourself. And you don't know yourself. Are we together? When we were traveling this morning with Madam Betty, you can do people like this. Yes. Madam Betty is our chief editor. I run a magazine company called Outstanding. She's a very resourceful person. She's doing a master's in psychology. We were discussing about hyperstress. Stress that you don't know you have. You are stressed and you don't know. So, and if you go to a counselor like Monicah, people who are stressed, they will give all the reasons why they are stressed, apart from the real one. Are you getting that? So look at your neighbor, I tell you something. Look at your neighbor. You see that person? Nitoboe zili. Nitoboe zili. I am telling you, that beautiful person you are seeing, that handsome guy has got something nobody knows about. And they guard it with their life. Are we together? Something funny. So it's time you just relax and seek guidance from those who are experts and be open-minded. And don't say, this is too private, that I cannot share this. You can share anything. When our wives get pregnant and so forth, we think everything is private. When they go to give birth to children, wanawekelewa kwa meza, everything is laid on the table, surrounded by 40 men. This not. So what do you think is very private is not. So just talk, don't die alone, because people are dying slowly. And I read an article in the newspaper. They were saying, oh, many people are dying because of what they are eating. Oh, you're eating red meat, you're dying because... No. People are not dying because of what they are eating. People are dying because of what is eating them. Are we together? So ask your neighbor what is eating you. People are being eaten by different things. So by the time someone collapses dead, they have been eaten long time ago by other many things we don't know. So I want to say that stress can be defined only by a psychiatrist who will be able to tell you this is what you're going through, this is what you're going through, this is so that you don't diagnose yourself. But if you read from the internet, you will admit yourself in Madare, because internet will make you die when you are still breathing. So please seek help from the professionals. You'll be able to know what exactly you're going through. Maybe it's just anxiety. And you are thinking you are actually mad. You are not. Are you together? I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. I would just like to ask the audience and interact with you all. How many of you landed in the careers that you're in today or in the school that you're in because you have attaches and interns by accident? Just by a show of hands. If it was by accident that you landed, where you what you're doing today. If you know you determined the path that you have, don't raise your hand. But if it's by accident, let's see a show of hands. Accidents? Quite a significant number. Eh? Very nice. So I do hope we have mastered our craft. Yeah? Because we have to learn. Maybe there's the thing that you really wanted, like being an artist, but your parents tell you that is not a career. You want to dance? Unataka muziki? So, yeah, thank you so much, Joe, for that, and Monica also for that insight. So, because now we are talking about these conditions, I would like to ask Rebecca, could you help us distinguish these anxieties, stress, other conditions we hear sometimes when people insult each other here? Achana huyu ako na bipolar, anakuanga bipolar. You know, what are these things? Schizophrenia. What are those things that maybe you are actually born sick, or in the path of life you find yourself that you are now having a condition that has a name, a mental condition? Yeah. Very well.
Actually, I've realized Kenjan we love bipolar. I've never known how we classify it, but most of the chara na huyo akona bipolar. It's everywhere. We've talked about we have mental illnesses, so we have some disorders that we as psychologists we learn, we as the psychiatrists can be able to treat. But among these disorders, that's when you hear schizophrenia, you'll hear depression, major depression, the bipolars. The disorders are so many. We have alcohol. When you look in our reports, we write, alcohol disorders. So we tend to have those are mental illnesses. When you go to a specialist, a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, a psychiatrist, they're able to diagnose depending with the symptoms that we are able to see. When we come to depression, when you go to a psychologist, most of the time they will see the diagnosis depression. We identify it from the symptoms that are brought on the table. Schizophrenia, and others are so psychotic. By the time somebody have hallucination, they cannot be themselves and all that, it's diagnosed. So when it comes to psychologists, like for me, I would tend to deal with somebody who is not mentally sick. You can't bring for me somebody who is off and you expect me to cancel, because I can just handle somebody who is in a good state. We can have a conversation. When I realize it can escalate, you realize I'll refer you maybe to a psychiatrist. I'll refer you maybe to a clinical psychologist to do the assessment. The clinical psychologists have the power to write for you a prescription in terms of medication. You have anxiety issues, they can say you can take this medication. You have maybe depression, and so they can do antidepressant. More the same again with the psychiatrist. Yeah, the psychiatrist is more medical, so you realize they'll tend to give more medical, but they cannot talk, like identify what is really causing this stress factor, what is really causing this depression, because the symptoms tend to increase depending with the state where you are. How do you move from stress to depression to bipolar to all that? Yeah, because it just keeps escalating. Again, just as John has said, you have just a small issue, maybe you're just fighting with your supervisor, yeah, or your children, So we all say, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. Then it reaches a level you just cannot be able to do things very well. You know, something is not right. You're speaking to somebody you have to talk to. So for us, we'll just communicate. By the time we say you need to go to maybe a rehab, you cannot take control of ourselves. Like we all drink. Okay, most we drink, you know. Yeah, there's a difference because I'm drinking a glass of wine and I'm good, isn't it? So another person who drinks every day will be surprised. What's wrong with Becky? When you cannot take control of your drinking. You know. And the one who's sleeping kwa mtaro pia anashanga. How do you just take 1 or 5 and you're okay, and me I take 3 and I'm not okay? You know. So again, there are some things that tend to be hereditary, yeah? We say, okay, there's bipolar cases in that home, they move. There's drinking, there's an issue, it can move, you know. So we tend to identify the importance of going to see a counselor, a therapist. We are able to take that history and understand. Some of us have children who are already exhibiting anxiety. Yeah? Some of us have children who tend to start having issues. So how we handle or cope with the situation will bring you from a normal stress to another condition. So again, just as Monicah said, you have to really identify you. But when it comes to medical state and when you go to a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, for us we will do the counseling, identify what the issue will help you identify. Maybe you're in this condition. If there's need for medication, refer you to the for medication. Medication is not a bad thing. Maybe I can say that, yeah? We all avoid, but in a situation where we have to use it, it helps us. Because we have people with anxiety, you cannot do anything. You've seen people shake, others, you know, confusion, you know, I'm doing this. Like us mothers, you're calling home, akoaje ni mgonjwa, the supervisor is for work, you realize you're not looking, everything is just, you know, yeah? There's a lot of confusion. So being able to identify that I'm not in a good state, so you get all these words, schizophrenia. Basically for us, you might not be able to just say what it is, but when you go and assistance, we can be able to be in a good position to identify, depending with the symptoms that are presented. Yeah.
Just as a follow-up, you have talked about medication, and anyone who is prescribed for medication because of a mental problem, even for them now they might think, hey, I've really, really lost it. So could you tell us how, if for any condition, anxiety or stress or depression, does that mean that the person will be on medication for life, or is it just for that specific period? Because there's a lot of stigma associated with medication, and some people say that once you start taking medication, that's it, you're on medication for life. Yeah, could you help us clarify?
Thank you, Rebecca, for this. I'm just curious, as a person, you have all mentioned the need to be more self-aware, and I'm looking at a situation where you are taking alcohol. Umesema sisi wote tunakunywa, but you probably don't see it as a problem. Like if I'm doing 2 glasses of wine every day, and you look at me and think Catherine is drinking too much. So I'm just curious, what level of awareness should I first have to be able to identify that, one, I have a problem, and then if I am living with, or someone is living with me, what should they look out for? Because I actually want to start with you, Monicah, because you've been through this journey. At what point did you realize, or did it happen that somebody else realized that you need help? Kindly share with us that part.
Okay, thank you for that question. I started out as a social drinker. I drank, with my peers after work. We'll go for happy hour on a Friday. All was well. But I do remember that I probably had alcoholic tendencies with my first drink. Because when I sipped my first drink at 19, I liked how it made me feel. And we used to have a competition with my family members when we'd have parties to be the last man standing. That means the person who can handle the most alcohol. But that was not really an issue. However, when I got into my abusive relationship, it became a coping mechanism for me to just mask the pain and the shame that the father of our children was putting me through. He's no longer my husband. And I use a recovery program called Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm told to respect him and not call him my ex-husband, because he wasn't an ex in the beginning, correct? So for now, with respect, I call him the father of our children. So when we started the abuse, then I started to hide. He would literally tell me, we're going for an event, he would tell me, make sure you only drink 2 glasses of wine. The last man standing to drink 2 glasses? Are you kidding me? So what I would do to, keep the peace, because I didn't want any fights when we're at an event, I would literally go in the closet and chug onto something so that I'm loaded when we go into the party, then I have no problem drinking the 2. However, the problem with that is I have this resentment. I'm at a party, I'm not enjoying myself because I'm looking at all these people having fun, but I can only drink 2. So that too is embedded in my head. I'm not having a good time and I cannot wait to go home because I still have some to drink. So he kind of contributed towards my, going over that line. But bottom line is, look at the reason why you're drinking, right? If you drink every day, that's not normal, right? Figure out, it's not really the action of the drinking, it's like, why am I drinking this? Do I really need it? So you ask the why, then if you can answer the why, then there's a reason that you're doing it, then you know that you've crossed that invisible line. But if you're drinking just to socialize, to relax, and you're not asking yourself any questions, then there's no harm in having a drink. But the reason you have a reason why you're drinking it, because as an alcoholic, I'll give you a million reasons. I'll drink because the sun is up, I'll drink because it's raining, all those things. So if there's a reason, then yeah, I've crossed that invisible line. I do not have to justify having a glass of wine.
Yeah, just as a follow-up, so from the points that we have spoken here, we can see that the stress, the depression, it's all coming from that thing that we may try to avoid. And I'm thinking when we are in middle age and older with experience, we're able to look down our lives to try and change. What about the youth? So my question would be to you, Joe. The young people, really young, from teenagers, they have not realized themselves, going on to their 20s, and they may not have the capabilities to look within themselves. What is your experience working with the youth, and especially with now mental health?
Well, to respond to that, what is my experience with the youth? I want to say that the youth is a difficult group. Difficult because of the uncertainties. Like me, I'm a motivational speaker and a writer. What is a youth? This guy is, I don't want to say shapeless, but is kind of shapeless. Because he hasn't become anything yet. So that there is a lot of uncertainty even about the future. Like when I go to talk to students, for example, I talk to them about what car you will buy a car. They haven't bought one, but I have. Oh, what car you will do this? I have done it. So them, they are coming from a point of only hope, while me it's certain. So then they are uncertain, and so it stresses them. So it makes them very anxious, makes them very stressed. Actually, the youth are more stressed than us who are paying bills. You can imagine the way like you were promised some promised land somewhere, and you are not sure of getting there. So they also experiment with a lot of things, either fit in like you have never tasted beer. Like, man, are you even serious yourself? So you want to test so that you can, yeah, I tested. You are part of it. You are part of the matrix. Yele mwai kutest beer. Sometimes they go to an institution, and maybe it's a high school, because I do a lot of high school mentorship. You find a guy who is in the Christian Union in the morning. Wanaimba na kulia machozi. Tunakuabudu. Then there's a symposium, and they have to dance these other secular songs. And the guy is dancing. And Aguza Fro. The same character who was pulling heavens down. And if there will be beer somewhere in the evening at Oja, is that person shapeless or shapeful? Or if there's such a word. This guy is looking for a shape. He still hasn't got an identity. It is called identity moratorium. You do not know who you are. And so because of that, you might do anything. And in the testing of things, you could be hooked up with one that made you feel so nice, like Madam Monicah. The feeling of niceness will make you want to feel nice again. And because of the pleasure center that you just hit, that this made me feel good, you will be remembering what made you feel good. You might be tempted to go back and feel good again. And so it becomes difficult to be able to tell them exactly what it is they have to do, because there is no marking scheme to life. Not like even me when I go to speak, I am Mr. Answers or Mr. Marking Scheme or the SI unit of like do this every day and then this is what is going to happen. Again, because of our personalities. How I view life is not how you view life. Like what I could be afraid of, you might not even be afraid of it. What could inspire me may not be inspiring you. Why I'm working hard may not be the reason why you're working hard. In this meeting, there are guys who are working hard because they have to escape a lot of challenges that maybe poverty where you're coming from. Somebody else is not coming from a poor background. Maybe they are assured of an inheritance. Maybe there are 5 flats waiting for them. And you know, everybody works for a different reason. Someone else is working hard because of status quo. Because it's a class you must. So if you go back to the youth now, it is difficult to inspire them in a certain direction, whether it is the issue of being hooked up on drugs or on stress and so forth, because there is still a lot of growing going on in them. And the growing all up goes up to the age of 25 years. And not that after 25 you don't grow up again, but the real like growing up, like to say, this is who I am, that I can be in a group of people who drink and I will not drink. That's a choice you have to make by yourself, but it has so much to do with even how you're socialized, I would say so. Our socialization, where we have been brought up, and what we pick as values, and even fear. Like when I was young, my dad was a drunk. He used to drink so much and come home late and break things and refuse to buy some things for me that I thought were basic. So personally, I made up my mind that I will never drink. Me not drinking is not lack of money of buying beer. It's because of progressive rebellion. I'm a progressive rebel. I refuse to drink because I'm rebellious. Because I want to teach my father a lesson. And because of that, I won't drink. And so I don't drink. Because I'm unhappy with the drinking tendencies of my father. When my brother are born by the same guy who was unhappy about drinks. So people react differently to different things. To the point where it goes overboard and so forth, those again have to be looked against the information Madam Becky said about predispositions and so forth. Like me, I have a worrying craving for cigarettes. Me, I really wish to smoke. Badly, I have to confess this. I don't know, when you smoke around me, I am telling you, trigger so many things in me. But for me to refuse to smoke is a struggle. It's a fight. It tells you of the human fight we must fight sometimes to be able to be maybe who we are or what we might wish to be. So sometimes even in the formation of the youth to be the adult they finally become, there will be a fight. Life is a fight anyway. If you're not fighting, you are being fought. You must fight. I'm telling you. Are we in agreement? That sometimes we have to really fight. And fight. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win, and sometimes we learn. So I don't know where you are, winning, losing, or... Because life is... You know why I'm saying this? Because life, the way it is, whether you are young, old, they are in between, not sure, you are in a situation. A situation why? Because life is problematic. The setup is problematic. Such that if you're not in a problem, you have just left one. Or just about to join one. So, either uko kwa goli, umetoka juzi, ama unaigia. Yani, you cannot be free. And because of that, Madam Monicah said, you drink because the sun is too hot, or you know, there's a reason to do something every time. So, but you must have checks and balances. That is for the youth. Just check so that you don't then get hooked up with. And then, lastly, how will you know that you are getting down the bad terrain? Just check against how, like if you used to do this and you're no longer doing it, it was a good thing, something is wrong. If you've been able to come to work on time all the time and now 3-4 times you have been questioned for it, something is wrong. If you have been the guy who has been able to save and you no longer save even 500 shillings, there's some problem somewhere. Something is wrong. You can check through the results. Sometimes the results don't lie much. And even our bank account, they don't lie. They can tell you something. I'm telling you. Sometimes you can also check against that. It can tell you something. Thank you.
So, okay, we've focused a little bit more towards alcohol and substance abuse, but I'm also curious about social media. That is, you know, we are taking survey. Everybody is on Facebook, Twitter, somewhere. So, Rebecca, you're dealing with the youth also, because we are transitioning between family as we go towards the workplace. So I'm just curious, how are the youth actually managing in lines with the social media aspect? Because it's a place, it's a resource, at the same time it's becoming a bit addictive, and I'm not also sure if it's now something that is getting like treatment, a clinical treatment of some sort. Maybe you can share some light on that.
Okay. Addiction goes on. When you talk about social, we are talking about life, right? Yeah. Right now, we cannot work without social media. So it's something that is with us and will continue being better and better as time goes by. What we're just realizing, the fact that it's here with us, how we manage it is what is important. Why do we use social media? Why use social media? You know, we don't watch news. So these days you watch live on Facebook, isn't it? Yeah. Somebody is passing. You're wondering what made her hair so long. You can Google just right there and get the answer. So social media has been one of the best, a blessing to us. But why is it becoming a problem? Yeah, right now even at our place of work, you know, let me watch and nifanye file mbili tatu, then 1 hour Facebook, you know, go to my profile somewhere there, tunachanga pesa WhatsApp. We are doing everything in WhatsApp. Your phone, so it's not going anywhere. How we balance in between and know when we have to use the social media and not use it is what is important. So where are we supposed to use the social media? Where are we not supposed to use the social media? Just as we have a clear timetable, I'm working like this for 1 hour. Probably that is the way we are going to have to balance. We're going to have to balance how we use our social media. Reading, we can have workaholics, isn't it? Is it bad to be a workaholic? Isn't it? There are those, you know, it can be bad to be a workaholic, but if you don't work hard again, other people will prefer being with workaholics. Exactly. There are those who prefer being with workaholics, as in, you know, like I want them. You want somebody who is, you know, I'm hardworking. Yes, you are hardworking, but for some reason they'll pick that person who tends to work a lot. They pick them, isn't it? Yeah, if they want somebody, they'll pick the workaholic. So there's an advantage for that one. Yeah? And for those, there are those who we don't like it. Working too hard, after all, what will I get out of it? But when there's a task force and you're not included, you get angry. And somebody says, my friend, you don't work. Becky does it better. Social media, again, when it comes to the computer, there are those who are very good in report writing. They're always in the computer. When this is needed, they'll pick that one. You will not say, you know, me, I don't like work. You will fail that exam because you don't like social media. And others will be surprised. What do you mean you don't know that there was an inauguration? What do you mean? That the Queen was, you have no idea. It looks very abnormal, you don't know. Isn't it? Yeah. So social media, as good as it is a matter of balancing. Because as it is right now, we need it. We are using it. We are not running away from it. So how do we balance? So in our place of work, how does it interfere with our productivity? That is another question. Does it interfere with your time with your children? On Sunday after church, I was having lunch somewhere alone, and I saw this, you know, we had a family. It was interesting because the father was on, you know, everybody was holding a phone except one boy who was sleeping on the table. And I found it a little bit interesting, you know. And for 2 good hours, nobody was talking. You know, the therapist in me almost went there like, what are you doing? So it's a matter of just how do you do it? How is it affecting your relationship with your children? Is it affecting your relationship with work? Is it affecting your relationship with your spouse? It's a matter of balance. So we come up with a very clear rules. Yeah, you know, maybe there are some of you when at home know, you know, have a very clear rule on how to follow so we can manage it. Is it an addiction that we can diagnose today? Anything can lead to an addiction. But I cannot say we have a clear medication for social media at a particular time. But an addiction, anything can end up being an addiction. So it's a matter of managing. The same way. Other thing, it's not about alcohol alone. The same way work can be an addiction, the same way it can be. So it's just a matter of managing it. But when it comes to that, it's not going anywhere. It's with us. So it's how we just balance.
So just as a follow-up to the other speakers, what is coming out really clearly is that there's a clear distinction between the virtual world and the real world, and a need to have a balance. Our work, our life requires that we get into the virtual world, especially COVID showed us that we can work from home, and so mostly we're in that virtual world. Could you, because I'm looking at the audience here and I can see we have parents, young parents, we have parents of older kids who are in college and want to be parents in some 5 or 10 years. Could you maybe give us a recommendation on what to do in a family setup so, or even for individuals, so that we can try and see where strike a balance between balancing between the virtual world and the real world, and from your experiences, of course.
Thank you for that question. So it seems that we all need technology, and as Becky has said, we strike a balance. So for the virtual world, we need it because we need to communicate to people who are away from our space, but at the same time, we need to have family time. Family time is critical, and we can set a schedule where at least once a week we commit to having family time with our children or with the family as a whole, and then don't end up on our phones. Like, make a rule. If we're going to have family time, that's a decent time, we commit to it. Give it an hour or two where we just sit and have a conversation, maybe play a board game, or just have something that to do with the family. But even before we do the family time, we also need our own time. A lot of self-care. So by the show of hands, if you don't mind, just indulge me. How many of you know about self-care? Just self-care. What is self-care to you? No? Okay. So self-care is when you take care of yourself, right? And the first thing is to look about your mental well-being, which starts with a little bit of exercising, because with exercise it creates a lot of dopamine, which is a happy neuron for you. Because when you're happy, or when your mind is free of every thought and whatever task that you have ahead of you, you're able to easily cope with other people, to communicate, right? So we start with self-care, so that way when we introduce other people into our space, we're already grounded, right? The other thing is, what do we eat? And when do we eat it? A lot of us have our meals super late, which is understandable because you work all day. By the time you get home, you're preparing your meal and you're eating your meal late. So I encourage you, if you're to eat a meal later than 7 p.m., I don't know how realistic that is. Okay, let's say 9. I see Maria is giving me a frown. Have a very light meal, a vegetable, right? Because vegetables have carbohydrates. Because then you have a hard time digesting that food. Then in the morning, you wake up grouchy, tired, lethargic because of the meal that you ate last night. So if you eat heavily at night, all day, it will bring it to your day, and you'll be a little bit slow. Not your fault, but it's because of how you're taking care of yourself. So it's critical that you eat your biggest meal as early as possible during the day. By around 1 p.m., have your lunch as your biggest. A little bit of decent breakfast, a big lunch. So when it comes to supper, some vegetables will just do you good and you'll sleep very well. And then exercise. I cannot impress you as much as I can on exercise because it does wonders. You'll sleep better, your mind will be clear, you will not be foggy. So when you do good self-care, then you're able to deal very well with the rest of your family members. So that when you're inviting people, you're not giving them orders, you're encouraging them. Because when you're tired and you're not mentally well because of all those things that are going through you or inside of you, when you communicate to people, nobody wants to participate. So you find, doing your dinners by yourself, because obviously nobody wants to sit with you. So create a space where you're welcoming everyone through your own self-care. And it starts also with, I don't know if I have space for this. Self-care also includes good financial planning. Start with how much do you get paid, right? And when you know how much you get paid, so from your gross income, make sure your rent is not more than 15% of that. Because all life stresses and everything that comes around comes as a result of our budget. If we're not budgeting what we earn properly, we end up with borrowing from whom and whom, and then all these things stress you out, and you become a very confused person at the end of the day, right? So to manage everything, you start really a good financial plan creates a very balanced mental health.
Okay, maybe to just comment on the issue of social media and its addiction and so forth. I think that the social media disallows us to be in contact with reality most of the time. It's a place to hide, such that we are hiding from thinking things straight. So mostly you will be finding anytime you have something, just any small free time, you're there. It actually slows down your productivity. It will make your book never to be written. It will make your business never to be started. It will make you never to follow up on something you're supposed to follow up. So over time, if you aggregate that of addicted and now not performing, it was gradual. Gradually, we were just getting in gradually. You find that the hours you're taking on social media will increase gradually. You will be taking like an hour until unapata some guys wanaenda kwa social media until 3 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes, madam, you'll be dealing with guys who are so tired, and not because they are hardworking. The guys are going until morning on social media because when you begin to watch, you never have a stop button. Are you getting that? And it will have a very big effect on your life. Because again, you'll find yourself overworking on something that gives you nothing. And this social media, I will tell you, is a very unique platform. The way you look at it. There are some people who are progressing very fast because of it. It's a place of business for them. For you, it's a platform of escape and to just pamper your comfort zone mentality. You run here. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the richest men in the world, around number 4, number 5. He's a very rich man. You unaomba hata your bundles uingie kwa social media yake. So the Bible says wale ambao watakuwa maskini watanyang'anywa, wale wako nayo waongezewe. And you are actually in the Bible. You are in the Bible. The Bible has not forgotten you. Because how is it that you are borrowing 100 bob on credit to go and spend on a billionaire? Who are you? So I'm saying that even if we have to look at social media, we must also be objective. Don't usiishi ati muradi tu ati haujakufa. You know, living just because you are not dead. Live deliberately sometime. Put the phone down, it will do nothing. Haitafanya kitu. And then you realize it gets to a point. And even myself have gotten to that point. Not once and not twice, severally. That haiwezi kuweka chini. Are you getting that? And it can be sickening sometimes. And I want to say it's painful. It's a reality. And then on that social media, maybe you are even selling nothing. In that social media. Other guys advertise their land, their vehicles there. You advertise nothing. All you do is just see what others are doing. You are just a spectator in life. When mashabiki ya maisha ni kustuka, wow, 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 wow. And then, you know, guys have mastered that. And so what people are doing now is try to look rich. Everyone has to away. People are more focused on looking rich than being rich. That I would rather look rich than be rich. If I have to do photos, I will do photos that will make everybody know that I am doing well. Well, you might not even be doing well. And actually, yeah. Then you come to the ground and like what Madam Monicah is saying, juxtaposition yourself against the truth. Am I doing fine? No. Then what do I do? You put the phone down and do something. And personally, me, I'm a writer. I've written about 8 books. I still go up and down and speak and run a workshop here at Chuma. I don't have more time than other people. I'm not saying I'm rich. Neither am I saying I'm poor. I'm only saying I'm doing what I can do. A person who can have, like, we have 24 hours in a day. We sleep for 7 hours. And 7 hours is enough time. If you sleep for 8 hours a day, and you live to the age of 80, you have slept for 27 years. Imagine. All the way to adulthood. Imagine sleeping for 27 years. Like now that we are burying the queen. Maybe she lived to 100. She was 90 something. If she was sleeping 10 hours, maybe because queen sleep long. She has slept for 40 years. So she has not done much. Just this anatusumbua tu na mazishi mingi. Because what has she done with sleeping for 40 years out of the 90 years? So make sure you have slept for those 7 hours. Then you have worked for 7 hours. Actually, the 7 hours, we say these people work here in Kenyan. They are not even 7 hours. If the real working time, it is 2 hours. The real working, that I really worked. No, just do an audit for yourself. Because who are you lying to? Who are you cheating? You're cheating us. You're cheating yourself. Just calculate how many hours do I really work. But you look busy. There's a difference between business and business. Are you really busy? Activity versus productivity. Guys who are tired, but what have they actually done? Quantification. Me, sometimes I challenge myself and I feel like I have done nothing with my life. People say, how you have done 8 books? I can even do 40. Maybe I'm supposed to have done 40. Am I communicating? That yes, you have worked like for 3 hours here in Kenyan every day. And then the other hours you're on social media and talking. And then you sleep for 7. Where do your other 16 hours go? And then you are wondering why you are broke. No, don't wonder why you are broke. And then you go to heaven gate to pray and ask Father why. What are you asking? You have the answers and you're asking God why. Where is your time going? Don't ask God why. Ask yourself, where is my time going? When you know where your time is going, then you know why. I hope I'm not being too hard. Because when do you then do personal development? And I want to say this. Social media is taking time for self-development, personal development. People who are very shallow at everything. Social media makes you think you are a professional. Because when you hear about economics, you can say something. Politics, you are actually a consultant. Political analyst, you saw them during election. Everybody knows something about your Tangura. And then you know about where people get their money, apart from where you get your poverty. It is very bad. Calm down. Be real with yourself. Are you getting that? Personal development, reading a book, a very boring book that you must finish and write notes. And when I say this, you're thinking, I am now going overboard. I'm not going overboard. I want to say this. If you become twice as good, you can earn twice as much. But you can never earn twice as much before you become twice as good. You earn what you earn because that is what you are. If you become better, you earn better. And nobody will prevent you from earning better because there will be opportunities for growth within your career or beyond. Are you getting that? Yes, but now we want more from less. Where? Where did you hear more is coming from less? Huwezi kupanda gunia moja ya mahindi ukangoje gunia 50 za kuvuna. Namna gani? Huwezi kupanda quarter an acre ukaharvest acre 50. Africans, we are notoriously religious. And we believe in miracles. That some power from somewhere will touch us. And everything will change. And now the pastors know that. And they are touching us. What are you touching? So if you are a poor man and somebody touched you, you will be a blessed poor man. You will not be a rich man. Utakuwa maskini aliyebarikiwa. So social media is taking time for reality. We are not coming to say how much time. You even doing 10 hours on it. 10 hours. 1 week, 7 days. And the good thing, it is there with you. So 10 hours every day for 7 days multiplied by a year. And then you will be, no, seriously, no. Apana. Nazio kubaya. Be real with yourself. Am I clear? Learn about leadership. Leadership not so that you can become the leader of this company. The leader also of your own affairs. Like if you had a business somewhere, can it run without your presence? Ama wewe ni ule ukiweka kama unafuga kuku, lazima ukalishe mpaka itage. You can have programs and you can have systems that work for you. You can run a business and run your work because you are a good manager at personal and other issues. It comes with learning. Me, I was not born speaking. I was born crying. To be able to speak like this, something has happened to me. Or you want to say that this is natural. You look force issues. You know, you have to force issues to be something else. And until you become somebody you have never been, you can never earn what you have never earned. To get what you have never got, you must be who you have never been. And you must put that phone down and do something on yourself. And you'll thank me later. Thank you.
Hey, makofi ingine. I feel I've been targeted to some extent on social media. But, you know, I think we've talked about self-care. And I think some of us feel being on that other space is part of self-care. Ukweli uongo. Raise your hand if you feel when you are out of your reality, you go on Facebook, Instagram, you enter into a different world where you forget your problem. If you know that is part of you, you can raise your hand. Then I'm alone. Oh, and Maria. Yeah. So do you think the issue is we probably don't know of any other mechanism to cope? Because I feel that's what we have. I mean, I'm here now, I'm stressed. Let me check what is happening. So maybe Rebecca and Monica, you can comment on that. What other tools or aspects are available to just cope and enhance that self-awareness and self-care aspect that we need to be better?
Okay, Catherine. I can recommend working as a team, have an accountability partner, and make goals, right? We have a fitness center right here in Kwamohia. We run some yoga classes, Zumba, as well as aerobics. So if you have an accountability partner, tell them what your goal is. Say, for example, I feel overweight and I want to lose about 5 pounds, and I have a target of 3 months. And I'm asking you to be my accountability partner so I can hit the gym and work out those pounds. So when you have somebody helping you or holding you accountable, you're likely to succeed. And then in the event that, you know, you feel like nobody is responding, then, you know, go to your HR manager, right? And find out if they can form. No, we can bring the gym to you. I mean, I can come over here and do some instruction. If you feel like going to Kwamohia is too far, we are available to come and have a mobile, even in here, in a tent on the grass. It's really nice. You know, do some, release one of those stressors in your life. But the bottom line is to make a goal and stick to it and have an accountability partner for success.
Social media, I think, as a coping mechanism, it's been way easier because we have it all the time. It does not need your permission. Go through and remember, okay, I had how is she today? You realize, oh, she's getting beautiful, or amejiachilia squeezy, all that, you know. So have one, yeah, and it's like we've gone somewhere. We are talking about something sweet. Social media has all that. So as a coping mechanism, I might not pick, but I can pick it as one of the most available. These days, somebody will tell you, oh, by the time I went to see this somebody, I checked him out, I did everything. So I have no choice. I have to be there and ensure I'm doing something. It's a copy, but we have a lot of going back to traditionals. Group going to the spies, talking to our pastors, being in choir. There's many situations that come away. We are going one, being able to talk to somebody, going to a therapist, counseling, for any guidance, for the ladies, chamas, men meetings, is a way of coping. Now again, as Monicah said, it's so personal. How do you cope with it? You know, what are your coping mechanisms? Identify what works for you. If it's talking to somebody, if it's having more time with your children, identify it. Because social media, unfortunately, again, as I say, it's just discipline. It's not going anywhere. So it's a matter of how do we manage it? How do we go about it? How does it add value to you? To others, it adds a lot of value. To others, as John says, we sincerely are doing nothing but just go through. But it feels good. In fact, when you wake up in the morning, have you woke up at 3 a.m. and the first thing is take your phone and you're just looking, Facebook for real, or WhatsApp, what is coming through, who has checked my status, you know, who has commented. It's becoming so maybe it's a matter of just asking yourself those hard questions. Now we don't pray, we don't do, we watch, we see first, then you remember, oh, it's morning, maybe I need to pray, you know, something like that. Maybe I need to do exercise. Maybe it's just in the house. So as everything happens, others will not go. You have no problem going and dancing. It works for you as long as we're able to cope. We are coping well with whatever that is on our hands. Will be the best way to handle our mental health.
Yeah, so we have explored the different aspects of our lives, from home to the workplace to the community. So, and the key here point is that we have to identify within our individual lives those things that are stressing us, and then knowing how to ensure that we eliminate the stressors. Maybe some of the self-destructive behaviors or indulgences are coming from that escapism. So I think we have to be bold enough and face our reality. Now, if we are knowing our well-being, Rebecca, and I identify I'm really stressed. So what would I do if I'm a Kenyan employee? What are these resources available? Is it HR or what? How have we set up our system within Kenyan so that people know really the resources that are available for them, and actually the know-how or the steps to go ahead to seek their help?
Thank you. In Kenyan, when it comes on how we manage issues to do with stress, HR has put a very open way of trying to manage. Probably we might not be able to see it, but first of all, you can see it by the fact that I'm seated here. So that means they're actually really thinking about our mental health. We have different ways we can. You don't necessarily have to talk to. I know most of us, when we hear HR, there's something, isn't it? There's something about HR. Maria, it's okay. But there's something about, you know, even the fact, okay, Becky Akwapi, HR, woo, okay, she might be a good girl, but HR, there's something about HR. But if it was not HR, we would not have been here, isn't it? If right now they just took out HR, she'll be scared. So they're very, at the end of the day, they're one of the most important, very, very core team that we definitely have in our company. And there's nothing that we can say apart from them checking on our well-being, isn't it? You go to hospital, it's HR, yeah? You're doing what you're doing, is HR. So I think, first of all, as a company, let us accept that this department is very important. It can hire you, it can fire you, it can do all that, but it's one of the very core things. So let us first of all remove the stigma of, you know, HR and understand what is this the package they're giving us. We are able, each one of us, to be able to go to hospital, even with our cards, and be able to see a psychiatrist, and be able to see a psychologist, be it a child therapist. Even your babies can go to Aga Khan, seek for a child psychologist, and they get the services. I'm starting from a very general thing that all of us have. You don't even need to tell Rebecca, okay, Becky, what do I do? Where are you? Or go to Nairobi Women Hospital. What is there? There's a psychologist. Talk to them. Nobody will know, isn't it? But you have the medical card. That's another advantage of it. Yeah. Another thing that we have as Kengen, we can be able to, like the issues to do with medication, what are we doing? Since I myself personally as a counselor in Kengen, we've been able to go to the supervisor and say, Becky is using some medication, yeah? For antidepressant, what can we do? Maria will not refuse if you tell her, you know, but she cannot assist you if you don't say. You are sleeping the whole day. When they're giving you a warning letter, that's when you say, wait, I'm taking dawa for... So we all get then you say, HR, wanadanganya, but when it comes to mental, communicating is also very important. Be it your supervisor, be it anybody. We have also been able to have, we have counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists on our panel. How many have called any psychologist in our panel? You just went and called because of any issue. Did they assist you? They did, didn't it? They are there. So you're stressed, unaogopa kuambia Becky, or you're unaogopa kuambia Jackie because you're scared, you do not know where this news tomorrow will be. Yeah, so you can also be able to do it in confidentiality and help. But now we also have another situation. We as a company, there are some issues we can just identify. Okay, wait a minute. Jen is not fine. All of us can see Jen is not fine. Eh? So how do we also handle it? Who do we talk to? Or we just sit in the corner, kikuja, shh, tumenyamaza. So they run away and run away and run away. So also we identifying, we have teams, different teams. HR has given us, we have gym, we either go for Zumba, others go. Do you go to all those things? Do you? We stopped, isn't it? Now it's, and again it's very normal. I have small children. How do you tell me to wake up at 6 and be in the gym at? I have to be in the house, maybe my husband has told me by 5. And you're telling me the gym is after. We handle things in a different way. But again, as I say, what works for you for your self-care? All of it, when you look at it as HR, as the package they've given unto us. Call the doctors. Call Rebecca. I don't need to, I can refer you to somebody who can assist you. Communicate if you're going through something. Communicate. We can be able to, we might not know the whole story. Everybody needs, but communicate. Maybe you're undergoing through, you have a child with a special need. And that day you had to come at work at 11. Nobody knows. You understand? Communicate. All this affect our productivity, all this affect our mental health. But as a company, I think as much as it is, HR has made it open for us to assist. I've been here for a few years, and those who have sought help have been assisted. Rehab, we are going to rehab how many times? 3 times. Hata nyinyi wenyewe mumechoka. Isn't it? Huyo anaendanga paka naogopa hata kulewa. Anajificha huko. But we pay for full rehab for the first session. We really do. The second one, we use your medical card. The third one, unajipanga, and hapo ndo we stay kinaumana tujui HR. So now with that one, you will not blame HR, isn't it? But all of you have seen us support people to the rehab. We pay for them fully. We pay their salaries. Nobody has gone to the rehab and said, I'll miss salary. Sinu kweli? Yeah, we've actually, HR has actually assisted that very much. So all these are the things that we have in our company. Your children have also gone to rehabs. Yeah, your spouses have gone to the rehabs. And HR has been very supportive to you as a family. Monicah is on our panel. As she says like this, you can as simple just go there, probably with your card, and you'll get your assistance. You see, these are many ways of how we are managing the issue for, because at the end of the day, your productivity is very important, and we accept the fact that there are very many things outside there that will affect your productivity, especially that align to your mental health. So let us maximize these resources that we have. If you do not understand it very well, call me. Call on your Cisco, on your mobile, 24/7. Call me. I'll be able to direct you in case of any, and I'm talking of any issue. Yeah, I'll keep it confidential. I don't report to the HR. Maria, do I report my people to you? No, we don't report. Yeah, I just, you know, so it's, we don't report. I do not report any person. So if you see an article, don't say Becky said story young. You get, it's very confidential. So there's no fear of that. So kindly call me up, call your supervisor, call anybody you're comfortable with. Yeah, we can be able to assist you to ensure if counseling you need, medication you need, sensitization we need, all those ones Kengen has provided for us. So let us use them. Thank you.
And a quick follow-up, just to be clear, because here we're in Olkaria. So are you the only resident psychologist, or and how would you offer services to people here?
So far, I'm the only resident psychologist. Yeah, what we've been doing, we've been working a lot with the peer educators and the wellness champion. And I understand probably you pick who you're comfortable with. So what has been happening, in case there's some if there is need be, have a quite a number of people I would like have my sessions. Some of us have had to Nairobi. If you call me and you insist you have to come, release you. You get? They will actually release you. Say, I have maybe for a referral or something that you feel that in my position I can be of big assistance. We use Peter, we use Maria. Most of us have been coming to Nairobi. Maybe it's just that we don't know. But again, even myself, I avail myself here. So we can have several, I can have a day, do the sensitization as we do like this, but at the same time do one-on-one if need be, or refer you to the right people that I feel can be of assistance, especially if it's an emergency and I can't handle them. But a few of you have called, you've talked for hours, you know, how we can do ABCD. A challenge that I've noticed with most of us, even I was talking, when you're giving these services, you're going through counseling. Counseling is not magic that works once. That you came to Becky for 1 hour, talked, oh, by the way, okay, maybe that's how they do, and then you go. This a way it is consistent. If your therapist feel you need 2 sessions, just like Dawas, you have a dose. If you don't finish that antibiotic tomorrow, in fact you're shaking, isn't it? It's a how Dawa. The same way, even the medication for be it anxiety, antidepressant, we can't just miss it because it won't work well. The same way we are doing even with when you are being assisted. Yeah, you can assist me 1,000,000 times. I will not leave my husband, but tunasaidiana, sio? So we askiange hata tumemwambia acha tuapigwe. Then you realize it's a whole cycle. There are those who can't, isn't it? Really the same way. But now, when you're going to somebody can be able to assist without necessarily judging you. Because here we are in an environment, somebody can know what is happening in your home. Uki scream ataskia. By the time you reach the office, all of us know you screamed last night. So your son did what? Now that is the environment we are in. So in that particular setting, it's also very important that we know who to go to, who to get assistance, and so that it does not bring a stigma and make some people feel more stressed around. So when you go for counseling and they're telling you 3 sessions, vumilia tu. I'm saying vumilia because some people really don't enjoy it, but go. At the end of the day, it can be of assistance, or it can save you from using that antidepressant one day.
Thank you, Rebecca, for that. And yeah, we do appreciate the support that we have as a company. But I'm also curious, do I need to have an issue to go for therapy? Or I can just show up and I just need to speak to someone or something?
You don't need to have an issue to go for. Yeah? You don't need to have an issue to go for therapy. It's the same way you call somebody and get excited that you're getting married or your child is graduating. Who told you to? You call them because you're happy, isn't it? Or you're planning to do something, or you're wondering how you need direction on something. You can also be able to seek counseling. Maybe in giving you direction, maybe in what you feel you're seeing. Ukombele. And we have to plan. The same way we just do with financial planners. So you plan for the next 10 years. You don't know what will happen the next, but you plan, isn't it? The same way you can go to a therapist and talk about something. The same way you're investing something towards the next, your grandchildren. It's the same way it can be a plan, it can be a crisis, it can be an advice, or just a chat. Some of you just call me to chat. Yeah, and some of you have just called you to chat and you've been so scared. Rebecca, why are you calling me? Calling me? It doesn't mean anything. Oh, I'm just saying hi. So let us understand that it is not a bad thing to seek this. Yeah, we are just there to be able to help, and it's always good to just say hi, get assistance, ask a question. So it doesn't have to be a crisis.
Thank you. So we are living here knowing that we are going to normalize the therapy session. And so I'll be waiting for your call, and then I see if I'll nitashtuka hivyo. Yeah, but you've mentioned we do partner with other institutions to offer the treatment. And Monicah, here you do run a whole rehabilitation center. So I would really want to know what is the process in terms of how do I initiate
addiction. So the family sessions are very comprehensive and make it mandatory, except in situations where it's risky for the person getting recovery. Then you omit the family. However, the family has to have some healing. We do have a program called Al-Anon. So people in addiction use Alcoholics Anonymous as a maintenance, which I use and actually have a sponsor. And a sponsor is somebody who got recovery before me and is walking me through the recovery journey. I've been sober 7 years and I still check in with my sponsor. So it's a lifelong journey. Once I've identified I'm an alcoholic, I'm an alcoholic until I die. So I cannot say I'm healed, so I don't have to follow any processes. The other one is about the aftercare. So once you're in a rehabilitation setting for the 3 months, that's only giving you the foundation and giving you some coping mechanisms, some tools that you can take with you. So whether you use them or not, that's your prerogative, but we hope that you use the tools. If you use the tools, then success is imminent. So we do a follow-up. For our program, we follow up with you for the first month. We're checking in with you the 1 week. Then the first year, we check with you once a month. And then we're with you the first 5 years. We also invite you back. Every Sunday, we have an open meeting for Alcoholics Anonymous where you can invite your loved ones and also come and share your experience with the people who are currently in our facility. So the aftercare is important and the family session is important. And then the recovery maintenance, which is Alcoholics Anonymous, is key to staying stopped. Once you look at the curriculum and you find all those things, and the one other thing that we add to our program is experiential outings. We have a van and I take our clients all around Naivasha to show them they can visit different places and explore Naivasha and have fun without having any substances in their system. And you find that the experiential outing helps them to really identify with seeing things and remembering. Like they went to, let's say, Hell's Gate. We go to Okaria, we go take them for a drive, and it's memorable. They start building new memories with a sober mind. And that's start creating the little child in them, which is what we look to find, because when you get older and you're in substances, then you're no longer happy. All you're doing is just surviving.
And Monica, just a follow-up. I'm curious about alcohol addiction recovery and what we call hard drugs or the others. Is the program the same as you have detailed?
It's pretty much the same. In fact, Alcoholics Anonymous was founded in 1938, and then people who do other drugs started their own program called Narcotics Anonymous. However, it's the same 12 steps that we use. And the only reason it was started is some people have a hard time calling themselves alcoholics, and they're not. However, even with narcotics or with alcohol, that's really not the issue. That's just an escape, right? The only thing we need to find out is why. Why do people have the need to do some, self-destructive behavior every time, over and over again? They have no capability of stopping. If you go to the core problem of why they're doing it, the substance itself is a non-issue, and that's what we get to the core of. However, they do need the support, system to help them stay stopped.
All right, thank you. So one more thing, putting it to Rebecca, we have looked at the different types of stressors, how we can encounter situations that give us stresses. But there's this one specific thing, and specific to women, because here we're also representing pink energy. There is the depression that is associated with childbirth. Could you talk just a little bit about it so that we can highlight it, and possibly most women don't know that possibly they may be going through postpartum depression?
I think we've all had a lot to do with postnatal depression. First of all, depression with the circumstances. Yeah, is your very first time maybe to have a baby, and maybe the pregnancy was a very difficult pregnancy. Those who understand difficult pregnancy, like by the time you have this baby, you're already bored. Like, why on earth do you take me through all these issues? So we tend to identify such stress, especially with how the mother reacts after birth. How you take care, maybe they will not be very keen on how to take care of the children or take care of themselves. We have others to the extent to mentally not be in a good place. They have to even to be in mental institution for us to manage it. So those are some of the things that you'll identify. Another thing will be, I have 5 children. 10 years down the line, I'm pregnant. I had not planned this and all those things. So from the beginning, I'm just wondering, how did I find myself here? So we tend to, there's that fear mixed again with the stress, like you are not ready, prepared to really have this baby, and in the process again can be able to go back to that kind of bring that depression. How were you handled during pregnancy? Maybe that is the time you got the beatings of your life. Maybe that is the time you lost a very loved one. Maybe that is the time you went through a very much financial strain. These are just some of the issues that will tend to come through that will cause such kind of stress. So I think what will be important will be very keen. Again, coming back to identifying I have an issue. During this particular, are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. It was a difficult pregnancy. Others, it will be very okay until childbirth. When you realize there is no way I thought it would have been like this. There is no way. I almost died. Have you ever met women who said, I'm not going there back, I will die? This one died, I almost died. Then 10 years later, they're handling another situation or another depression of, I wish I just had that baby. So for us women, we tend to have a lot of issues, especially. So a matter of is, when it comes to that kind of stress, is a package. Be it you as an individual, be it the circumstances of which you carry the pregnancy, be it your your partner at that time, or even the support system. So support system is also very important. Yeah, you know, who is your support system? Is it that friend of yours? Is this your partner? Is it that therapist? Is it that pastor? Is it your work? Identifying it, who your support system is very well. And I can also see we have male here. Can you be able to identify when your wife is not just the same through this process, even afterwards? And where do you go to? Yeah, because sometimes you can run when it's already too late. Maternal leave is over. You're coming back to work. And you are a workaholic. That you do not want to go home. You just pray and hope somebody else is taking care of them. And for us, we might not know, you know, but somebody can identify. So it's also very important that you be very, very keen, because it's becoming very common, and we're also advocating our male partners, our friends who are also men, to be able to help identify what could be it and support us, and come for counseling, church, whatever we could be, we can be able to give help. But counseling is very core.
All right. So right now, I want to give us a chance to say a final comment, and then we can invite a question or two. Then we can close the session. So I'll start over there with Monica. Can give us your comments.
Okay, so what I would want to impart to everyone is you're not alone in any situation that you go through. And life is not that difficult. Nothing should be taken so seriously. Just enjoy every moment of your day. And you have people who are willing and ready to assist you in any situation. And there's nothing that you've done, you know, that cannot be solved. And nothing under the sun is, you know, impossible for people to solve for you. But you have to communicate, you have to reach out, and most importantly, take care of yourself. Take care of your body. You only have that one, unless you have a deposit somewhere else. But for me, I know I only have the one body, and I do my very level best to take care of it. And I start with a routine every day. I have it on my phone, you know, it can be very annoying. I have a 7-minute routine of an exercise. So if I don't do it, my phone will remind me, it has been 3 days since you exercised. So that's my accountability partner. But you'll be amazed that once you start a routine, it's very easy to stick to it. And since I have just that one body, I have to take care of it. I have nobody else to do. I mean, I have to be accountable, right? So, and then when you add to that, make sure you have very good financial planning. Because that's where all my mental stress has come from. When I have bills, I don't know where to get the money to pay for my bills. It's on me, because I know how much I earn. I might know how much I'm capable of, affording whatever luxury. So I'm not going to live beyond my means. So let's be mindful of how much we're earning, where we live, what we can afford, what we cannot afford. Whatever we spend, let's make sure that we've actually budgeted for it. And our life will be a lot easier. And then incorporate workouts and also socialize. Socialize with your people. We're social creatures. Nobody is an island, or nobody was created to be by themselves. We need to socialize. There's so many places you can go to socialize, and you're welcome to simply connect. We can have a Zumba session, yoga, or whatever. Just reach out to us. And with that, just love yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it is a good engagement. On my final remarks, I would like to challenge everyone who is here, young or old or they are in between. Try as much as you can to, like what Madam Monicah said somewhere in her discussion, to have goals. Goals are good. I know sometimes we don't set them because anyway we never achieve them. And somebody said you make a very wonderful, it's called what, New Year resolution. But again, somewhere in February, you don't even know where that notebook went. And you continue living the same way you have always lived and expecting new things. Friend, nothing will happen. So sometimes set the goals Write them somewhere you cannot lose. Why do I recommend you write goals? Because in as much as we are physical, we are also very much spiritual. That the goals we set for ourselves somehow begin to locate us because of metaphysics and other things that I don't want to talk about, so that I don't look like a spiritualist. But the truth is, your imagination can bring to you some things that you need in your life. We are a little bit more stronger than we are. Are we together? We are a little bit more powerful than physical. That we can imagine things through maybe what she teaches in yoga, that imagination can bring you some results you're looking for in maybe you may not know how, but leave a space for miracles, please. Because if you believe in miracles, they can happen to you. Are we together? I always tell people that I have my mobile phone always charged. Mimi ni ngumu sana kupiga simu unikose unless I'm not able to pick your phone. Kwa sababu naona kama siku moja nitakuja kupigiwa na serikali wakitaka ni supply na maybe 1 million copies of my book, and that day I make 300 million. So I don't know whether they will really call, but I leave a chance for being a billionaire in life. Maybe you're thinking I'm crazy at that. But leave a space. Leave a space for miracle, because you are not very unlucky. Huwezi kukuwa so unlucky. If you are breathing, you are lucky. Are we together? And you are blessed. So let's also leave that space that God is a part of the equation, that He makes things happen. You know, sometimes we were told, if you want to live long, unakunywa maji glasi 8. Na unajua unaweza kunywa maji glasi 8 upate pneumonia ukufe. So it's not. Na tukaambiwa asijui kila utaishi. Rafiki yangu mwingine alikuwa anakimbia, akakimbia akagongwa na gari akakufa. So you and die. So leave a space that we are not alone in this earth, that some power we don't know brought us here. I don't know what name you give that power in your community or in your religion, but there is that power. The handwriting that there is somebody who wrote us down here. And leaving that space doesn't mean that you are a pastor or something, but you recognize that you can get things from God. Are you together? Having set those goals for yourself, be real with them. Follow them up and have a plan. Are you together? And don't just hope. You know, my mother is a very saved woman. Wa kanisa pale mbele. Na kuna wakati aliharvest maharagwe na akaiwacha nje. Na hakuambia mtu amuangalilie. Mamangu alienda kanisani akahope akutanyesha. Akahope. Hakuna kitu kingine. Hope. Kwamba maharagwe ni ya mtumishi wa Mungu. Na hakuna vile Mungu anaweza fanya mvua inyeshe maharagwe ya mtumishi. Na kuambia mvua ilinyesha. Na maharagwe zikamea zote. Ndio nikajua hope is not a strategy. Even if we are giving you hope, it is not enough. Actually, faith is to be found in action. That a man who is carrying umbrella has more faith in rain than a man praying for it. Even if you fast for 100 days for rain, and another idiot just carries an umbrella and is an unbeliever and a witch for that case, that guy has more faith than you. And that is why Christ said, even the children of the world are wiser than you. For they know that this is a method that wins this game. So, let me tell you that you can write down what you want to become, and you can become it. Or somewhere close to it. Or beyond it. So write down. There is power in writing down. And people who have very strong goals have little time to be stressed. Actually, you might be stressed, but there is no time. So you end up not being stressed because you don't even have time for it. You are chasing something. You are engaged. And so that gives you very little time to think of how unlucky you are. Because you're doing something. And then the other thing, initiate new things in your life. Why do I talk about new things? Even changing how seats are arranged in your sitting room can just disarrange your disorganization in your brain. Like just repainting your house, if you have one.
or buying a carpet or even a bed. Hata kama kitanda umununua 95 ati ni ya mahogany, ati hii bao nilo kiatu inakaa miaka 40 ati hii ni ngozi ya mamba. No, you change that thing. Because, and ladies might bear me witness in this, even if I'm not one. Ukienda tu ushukwe nywele na ni yako, unashidaga ukijiangalia na ni nani umeshukwa. Why do you feel good na nywele yako? Meaning something on you, it changes you. And somebody said, when you clean where you live, you clean your own soul. Are you getting what I'm saying? And even our environments where we live, go change them. Do something new with yourself. Even financial literacy, what you're saying about kujipanga kipesa. Kama kuendesha baisikeli ulifundishwa, unataka kufundishwa mambo ya pesa? You must go learn how to be, set a goal on personal development. I want to become better at something. Get a book, read that book twice or thrice. It will help you to understand how business systems function. You become better. You may do business later or even establish something later with the point of you are strong at it because you are able to equip yourself that way. Are we together? And I want to challenge you, because if you do that, give yourself 10 years, you will be better. And even if you will be 70, 80 or 60 or 40 or whatever age, there is no need of not being great. Just be whatever age you want to be, but be useful. Because at the end of the day, the greatest assignment you have on earth is to be useful. Otherwise, why are we here? We are here to be useful. Na ndio unaonanga mazishi, watu wakikuja wanalia sana, ni juu mtu amemtumia. If people use you so much, they cry during your burial because you are useful. You are useful. Be a resource to this world. And people who are a resource have no time to be stressed, because you are a resource. By the time you think you are stressed, guys are looking for help from you, Madam Maria. People are calling you, Madam Becky, for help. But you don't even have time to be stressed yourself, because people are actually depending on you. So I challenge everybody, look at where you can be useful. You may not give much, but the little you can give is enough. And somebody said, if all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is what you have done, then you have done all you could have done. And that is enough. Are we together? So I am happy to have been here. I'm a writer. I might ask for a second to say about my books. Why Most Boys Are Not Becoming Men is a book I wrote. And people ask me, if boys don't become men, what do they become? Big boys. So there's a difference. Kumea ndevu si kwa mwanaume. Mbuzi wako nazo. So you must ask yourself, what is the matrix of being a man? I'm not being insultive, but I'm saying it goes beyond responsibility. Kujua umejitwika mzigo na utaubeba, whichever responsibility it is. You must be strong and not just give up. I know the men don't talk much. Mwanaume tu ni kunyamaza tu, mambo imeshaharibika. Unanyamaza ndio unakufa kimwanaume. Lakini sijasema tukue na umama, lakini tujaribu tu tukue strong. Are you together? Then kuna hii where girls go wrong. Where girls go wrong. People say where. I just gave a story in this book. I saw it somewhere. A teacher is asking children in class, what do you want to become? Everybody says a very wonderful thing. And then there's one guy who said he wants to become a billionaire and have so much, and even be the one to determine who becomes president. The girl next akasema, I want to become the wife of that guy. So okay, fine, it's a goal. But what if they would have also become great themselves, so that if you're meeting a great guy, you're already a great person. No man wants a parasite. Every man wants a guy a lady who is working, forward looking and so forth. Ndio. Hata mtu anaweza kukupatia hata point 2 3 hata support hata hiyo idea uko nayo. Ama namna gani? Sasa wewe unakaa hapo kama financial refugee, so it is good to do something. So lastly, it is this book called 10 Years Down the Line. Na inasema in 10 years you will either be a newsmaker or a news watcher, and it's you to decide. And 10 years is a time to change things. Everybody, you can look at yourself 10 years and see how far have I come, and then say, well, am I happy or not happy? Then you can look for happiness. So I want to encourage everybody, if you wish to get my books, I will ask
Madam Beatrice, I will request her, when we are done with this meeting, maybe you can avail some few books. I don't know whether around here or around the reception. I don't know, Madam Doctor will guide us. The books cost like 200 for this one, 200 for the small one for girls, and the 300 shillings for the one for boys, because it's a little big. Big. I hope I've not said too much. Kindly forgive my exuberant verbosity. Thank you.
For me, I'll say we are so blessed to be in Kenjan. How many of you are happy to be in Kenjan? We are so blessed to be in Kenjan as a company, because Kenjan is a good company. Everybody wants to be here, but for us, we're already here. And they have availed for us very good resources. Let us use them, isn't it? Let us not have come and use them. Let us understand we have those resources and we can maximize them. We generally as a company tend to have common issues, you know. It could either we are having financial issues. Those are the kind of stress factors that come up. It could either be family, it could either be supervisors, it could either be I'm too idle, all those things. What is important is that we can be able to manage them in whatever way. And Kenjan understands you cannot be productive if mentally you're not okay. And that's why we see we have all these resourceful people seated here. You know, so let us maximize. We have very many forums. When you hear the people talking about finances, listen in. You're just getting it for free. If you hear there's a particular thing that will assist, listen in. Let us maximize the resources that we have. We have them, and they are good. Be it the hospitals, be it the counselors on our panels, be it myself, be it your friend. Let us make Kenjan and not just complain. You know, when you're inside, you can complain, and somebody outside is really praying to be where you are. So let us use what we have, and in the process, we can be more productive and be useful to our Kenjan company. Thank you.
So much, our speakers. I believe we've had a very wonderful engagement. To Joe, I want to tell you that we do have a book club within the Pink Energy where everybody is invited. We just one book, so support your is really good, and even where we can find them, because I'm sure some of the people here will be wanting to get them. So now I think we go to Q&A. We can allow in a few questions from the audience. So if you do have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll take 4 questions.
Okay, before we go to the session, Karibu Maria.
Thank you, Caro. Mine is not a question. I just wanted to add on to the resources that Rebecca has been talking about. We do have a peer support group. Our peer educators, our peer support group. Do we have any in the house today? Can they stand, please? Please stand. These are our colleagues. They're there to help us. They help those of us who are recovering from addiction. They help them in their walk to sobriety. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody. Sometimes you just need someone to hold your hand. These are the men and women who have volunteered themselves to assist others. Thank you so much for the work that you do. Let's clap for them. But each and every one of us can be a support to others. We don't have to leave it to these guys. We can all help each other. So, but the way we help each other is not by stigmatizing and saying, we are kona bipolar. Nani alikufanya daktari? You're not a doctor. But you can respectfully just say, hey, Nani, you're not yourself today. Do you need some help? Ama, si wende one daktari. You know, we can be a helper to each one of us. So let's do that. Let's stop stigmatizing mental illness. It is an illness just like any other. And we need to support each other in this. Those of us who have diabetes, those of us who have high blood pressure, we are going to be taking medication for a long time. So it's the same thing. Somebody taking medication for a mental disorder, it's the same thing. Let's not make it something so big. Let's support each other. So want to thank our peer educators, want to thank the panel that are here. We'll keep talking about this mental issue for quite some time because it impacts us, not in our lives only, but also in our workplace. Another thing I wanted to remind you is those of us who feel that they require to be assisted in terms of rehabilitation. There's a process. Please come to our office. We'll require you to put to request in writing, just so that we have something from you to commit yourself that you wanted to go for rehabilitation. That's where we start. The process starts in HR. Please come. Just say that, look, I feel I need to be assisted. You're managing a condition. Maybe you've been trying to get out of your addiction and you are unable on your own. How do you now engage with the resources that are available? You have to come to HR. Please come, so that we require you just to write. We will send you to the doctor just so that they do a physical checkup, because sometimes when we are sending you to the rehab center, you also have an underlying condition that the center needs to know. Those of you who have hypertension, you may be having hypertension alongside your addiction. You may also be having maybe diabetics. It's important for a medical report to go along with you to the rehab center. So you come to HR, we arrange for you to be reviewed by the clinic, and then now we make arrangements for you to join the rehab. So it's not that complicated. We really do want to encourage each and every one of us to seek help. If you need to see Rebecca, will put her number so that you can call her directly. Just to sound off on her. Don't let things go out of hand when you have so many resources at your disposal. So I'd like to encourage all of us, please, let's make use of the resources that KenGen has put in place for us. Thank you very much to the panel. Thank you for your time. Let me just give it back to Carol so we can get some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam HR, for that altar call. Yes, Rono, you have something to tell us? Yes, please. You're audible in speaker.
Just to thank all of you for a very educative session to all of us. With us here, we have quite a number of supervisors handling teams. We know that stress is not all bad. We also need to have some good constructive stress for us to get out of, outside the box. But as supervisors, maybe some tips on how to identify people who need help, because somebody may be stressed, but they don't know how to identify it. So as team leads, how do we, seek these people out and put them in a track to recovery? Thank you.
An answer for that before we go to another question, Dr. Or we can do 4. Any other? Hands up. Hey, don't tell me Kennedy was the only one in the meeting. Any other, please? Okay, we can answer that as we...
Thank you. As supervisors, I know we have HR has attained. Some people have gone through the how to identify somebody who tend to be having an issue. Maybe I'll just speak on the most of the common ones. So you're a supervisor, and all of a sudden, probably you realize Rebecca is withdrawn. It could be one of the symptoms. They tend to be withdrawn. They're not working basically as they always do. If I'm an early, I come at 8, and tomorrow I start arriving at 11 something, probably something is also wrong. We can also be able to pick a stress issue depending with how somebody reacts. I've ever just seen people, they've been okay, but now they're too sensitive. and you say something, they just, they're easy to answer back, they're aggravated, they get angry very easily. Generally, these are just general symptoms of somebody who is stressed in the workplace. So identifying that somebody is stressed could be different from now. When you get it now, you can be able to ask what is going on. Most of the time, they'll just tend to say, I'm okay. Nobody will want to tell you, like, I'm okay. What is going on? I'm okay. I'm okay. So I know sometimes the supervisors, we've been having a dilemma. Okay, this person says she's okay or he's okay, but clearly it is showing they are not okay. Should I you to take leave by force? Should I tell you, and somebody is just there? I think that's why even our peer educators now come in very strongly. So we as supervisors, we can use them, especially when you identify something is just not right. It can be absenteeism. Maybe all of a sudden somebody is drinking too much. They're coming at place of work, drunk. They're withdrawn. They're not communicating. They're not the same. These were just general symptoms. Now that we're not staying with them back at home, we might not pick much. So basically, these are general ones that we can be able to identify and ask, what's going on. If they can't communicate and it's worsened, we look for another way of being able to approach. So I think we do this morning also discussing with Maria and just understanding that probably it will be more important for our supervisor to go through these classes to be able to just know how to identify somebody who is going through something and how they can assist.
Thank you. Kennedy, are you answered? Thank you. There you have it. Thank you, Rebecca, for reminding us that I'm okay is not an answer. Next time you answer that, remember the supervisor will be looking deep into it. Any other question? Any other question, team? Thank you. Thank you so much. Karibu.
Hi, my name is Nancy. I would like to ask Rebecca, since you are only one and we understand that we are a large number, isn't that overwhelming? And Madam Maria, what can we do? How does she manage her work? We understand that nowadays we know that nowadays mental well-being is a challenge to most of us, and we see she's only one. At the same time, you have told us when you have an issue, seek for professional help. About the peer educators, are they trained so that we can be comfortable to share or to approach them, whoever may be in need? Another one, maybe it's a comment. Kindly, a forum like this, those who are far away, like in Orkaria 4 or 5, they don't get much a chance to attend. Can it be a mobile one? Sometimes it doesn't necessarily need to be big like this. Maybe you organize a small team to come there so that it can touch majority of us, because the motivational speaker alituambia most of the challenges arise from the financial perspective. We understand we are in hard times. So many has changed, but the financial muscles are still the same. So sometimes it starts from there, because from the majority of the people we interact with, utajua ya kwamba watu hawako sawa. Mafuta imepanda, pesa imebaki hivyo hivyo, kazi ni pale pale, tunahitaji kwenda kila mara. Adjusting ourselves, kwa sababu wengi wamezoea kutembea na magari labda, it's somehow inaku-affect mentally. How you will adjust yourself from where you come to make it by 7:15 on the bus. Sindio? Yeah.
Wow. Amesema ama kusema. Round up kila kitu ama ku. Aya, back to the panelist. I think that one should be answered before we go to any other. Oh, Maria, you want to say something? Okay, Dr. pick it from there.
It will be nice for both Maria and Rebecca to answer the first question. I had the same question in my mind. How overwhelmed is she? Because she's the only one when I asked the previous question. So we want to know how you cope. And even now that Maria, you're here, and
if she can hire or
we
not.
have issues, can you hire someone to assist her?
Karibu sana
For
HR.
local here. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think Rebecca, maybe you start talking about how you cope. Ama, this is causing you stress.
Okay. Thank you so much for your, how I cope. First of all, whenever we go, but first of all, as a therapist, I have a therapist. It's a must. So I cope by going to therapy. When in terms of, for now, I am alone. What has been happening, or what the plan has always been, it will, me as a person, we tend to do like rotational, yeah? So sometimes it tends to be on need basis because I'm alone. What I've been using mostly are the therapists on our panel, the peer educators. For them, because the peer educators, all the peers educators have been trained on basic counseling, on mental health issues, on identification issue to do with alcohol and addiction. So they are all well trained in that. We use them. Others do the counseling. Others we use them as a referral. So when they're able to tell me this is what is going on, I will tend to come on the ground. If not, if they can handle it, they can handle it by themselves. If those who call me and I have to refer, I send them to the psychologists in our panel, who have quite a number, from the psychiatrist to clinical psychologists, counseling psychologists, all the way to, again, as you say, peer educators, you can refer them. So that's how I've been able to cope for this particular moment. But in the power that if I can have, do I need more assistance? I don't mind. But now again, when it comes to that, it's not really impersonal. That's when Maria comes in.
I like the way Rebecca bus, but yes, to answer. For now, I think we started out just getting an in-house therapist based on what we were doing at that time. So the more we use her, the more we will create now opportunity for maybe others to join. Because if we're not using whatever has already been brought on board, then there is no justification to add. So that's not to say that we become sick, but that's just to say that we support her and consult her on the issues that we have. So, because she keeps the records, she keeps the statistics, which is what is given back to HR to make a decision. We make decisions based on the statistics. How many people has she seen? What of cases are being referred to her? How many referring outside? So it's not so much of who said what or who is suffering from what, but in terms of the statistics, that's what the decision is made now, whether we will have one in-house in Karanja or one house or else. So again, that's back to us. Our uptake will determine how many people, will be employed to. Why does this keep going? Oh, okay. In the other matter that she was talking about, the financial part, guys, my take is this: money will never be enough. Let's agree. Even if you earned $1 million today, you will simply adjust your requirements to that 1 million. So I know that we are in difficult circumstances, but if we think that we are in difficult circumstances, what about the guys out there who don't even have a job? They don't know where the next meal is coming from. So we need to be mentally agile enough to say that sometimes I can downscale to, based on what I have. I know as Miros we have black tax. You know what black tax is? We know what black tax is. We're aware. Yes, so black tax can also affect, how we plan, how we budget our money, because we have so many people looking to us to support them. That is black tax. We are always supporting that relative, we are supporting our parents, we are supporting our sisters, and somehow the money never seems to be enough. What best we can do, and I think that's a shout out to Pink Energy and also to YGen, is to bring a financial planning session. So that then it's not an issue of how much we have, but how we use what we have. So that we make sure what are the most important things, and the other things then we have to be comfortable enough to say to ourselves and our families that I cannot afford this. Your children will not die because they don't have a bicycle. Don't buy it. We ourselves must have that, in our heads to say what are the priority things for us and what is things that we want, not must have. So that's I think is back to our 2 forums to arrange. Let's have a financial planning session so that then whatever it is that we are taking home, how do we plan for it? How do we support our people? How do we say no? There are circumstances where we have to say no to some people and some things. We can't support everybody. But who are the people that we choose to support? And who are the people we can say, look, I'm sorry, I can't do this. So that's a session I'm hoping we can arrange to have that will equip us now with the tools of how to manage our money better and the tools of how to plan for retirement, how to plan for investment, how to plan to say no to those michangos that come from which church and which one, all the things that come our way. Okay, so that's my take for now. It's not an issue of increasing money. Yes, who doesn't want more money? We all want more money. But is it practical? Even if we have more money, it doesn't mean that we will spend better. Yeah, so we have to get the tools to manage the money that we have first before we start talking about more money. So that's my take. Thank you. I'll hand the session back to...
Yeah, so there was another question she asked. Some part of it, it's okay, Maria. It was directed to us on the venue of the event. So we normally choose this place because everyone who is coming to Kenjan, this is first either reporting to Plaza or to go to the plants. So we normally put it in the morning so that it allows you to come first for the event before you go back to your work. And I must say that is also quite a challenge because as you can see today we started a little bit late because of the quorum. So I'll throw it back to the audience and say, when you see an event, please also come and sit so that we can justify also having these wonderful speakers. And another thing that we are doing is that we are recording this session, so it's going to be shared out to all staff within the geothermal so that they can also follow through if they did not make it. It's a really wonderful session, so we saw the need to do those 2 things. And lastly, about the financial planning, as Pink Energy and I believe as YGen, they have a calendar until December, which has been approved. Every month, if you came to our March meet and greet, we showed you our calendar and the events that we had planned. And I believe if it's not November or October, we do have a financial session for you. And I believe YGen, they have a retirement session also on financial planning. So all these things are in mind, but we also want you to participate by coming and showing interest attending these sessions. So Catherine, you can add something.
Yes, on the financial wellness, I'm happy it's a topic that people desire to have. And next month, mid-October, we have partnered with the RBS team to do an awareness session, and not just for the retirement package, but also for the financial wellness. And it's gonna be virtual, so just look out for the email and just be present. These discussions, as you can see, they're linked to each other. The more you attend, the more you learn, the more you become better at living. So just be present, show up, and let's just move together. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Nancy, I hope you answered fully. Anything remaining? Someone, okay, Patrick. I hope I'll reach you in time before it evaporates.
I want to appreciate our speakers. That was very good and very encouraging. You have actually addressed very pertinent issues and made them look very easy to do. But as you have said, we have to set goals and start working on that. And I think one of the main stressors that we normally have is when you are not able to perform. If you are in the plant and it is down, that is sources of stress. Sometimes we go through stress because during what we have been doing, we do not maintain proper records. And at this particular time when we are supposed to be doing performance appraisal, you realize that all along you have not been keeping track of what you have been doing, and yet you are supposed to start giving an account of what you cannot even produce evidence. And that calls for us to embrace the organizational policies that we have, and particularly in the quality policy. We know that one of the requirements is we need to upskill what we do, because when we were invited for the particular jobs that I know we are doing, one of the statements in the advert is the job is demanding and almost saying it is stressful. So as we joined the job, we also knew that quite a lot will be demanded from us. So then for us to be able to do this job, I know we have mentoring programs, so that as we join and we are trying to learn new things, we need the people who are experienced to hold hands, because when the axe is dull, a lot of effort is required. But if those who are experts can give us that opportunity to learn, expose us, then that can make it easier and reduce the stress that is related to work. So I will still call upon each one of us, because we have someone we can share knowledge with, to encourage and mentor. And I find that all these programs are tying together, because when we do well, we have that dopamine generated. When things are not working out, we have adrenaline that is generated. We can identify the seasons and be prepared for it. For those of us who come from the village like me, when it is about to become really wet, there are some flies that start flying around and they enter your eyes, and you are able to tear a lot if you have to remove it. We know the seasons where stress rises up, and if we can get those skills early enough, that can prepare. One of the challenges we have in our career is absence of gym, and I think that one we have accepted. One of the issues I would want to request is maybe consider if a card to access the gym where we don't have a gym, as a way of addressing the stress as a therapy. Maybe it can be considered. We need to encourage those of us who don't have any exercise to join the teams that are doing that. So I'm throwing it back to Maria. We have to put you under the bus. We need to look at this as a peer encouraging, refrain from certain activities. But what do you do to create those activities that would, other than just sit in the social hall and because I'm asking HR questions, but we are all part of HR, and don't need to play a role, but we need to consider the facilitation to engage, especially those who have had companies that encourage relapses. Together. One of the things I believe is those we are alive, we are still useful. So let's try to make it easy for those who are also struggling by creating that environment so that they can be able to stand. And as I see it, one of the requirements for all of us is to ensure that we are always safe. If we work safely, quality work, we'll be happy as we go home. When we fail to observe those simple rules that are at work, then our conscience will be pricked, and that will be the starting of our stresses. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any comment, Madam Maria?
Yes, thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much for bringing up something that I actually had intended to mention. And somehow I think when I see many faces, I think it just went out of my thoughts. So Patrick has brought up a very pertinent issue. We do have a sports budget. How many of us play a sport? How many of us? Because other than, and I would ask, I'm going to ask somebody, Nani, which sport do you play? Yes, sorry, I forget your name. Rachel. Sport gani? Basketball. Wewe, Joyce yako ni gani? Netball. When was the last time you went to the pitch? 2015. How many saw 2016? How many saw an email I wrote last year telling people that sporting is back? How many saw that? Guys, work with me. I cannot justify a gym if you people don't go and play sports. Please. We send out a request. We tell you guys, join up. And the teams that are active is football, athletics, and aerobics. Those are the only teams that are active. We have darts, we have basketball, we have volleyball. Volleyball wanajaribu kidogo. But the teams are so few. How do I support a budget of 40 million, which is what we need to put up a gym, if you guys don't even go for sports? So it's one thing to ask, it's another thing to actually do it. Because I'll be asked, your pesa yote you want us to sink. By the way, the plans are there for the gym. We have plans to put up a gym here, Maslin, you know. Yeah, but we can't get the budget. We can't secure the budget. Why? Because I can't support it. So there's no magic that is going to happen. We have to make the magic happen. The only way we make the magic happen is by actually going out and embarking on a sport. The sport of your choice, even darts, Scrabble, they're there. Chess, they're there. Become active. Help me to support the gym that you want. Otherwise, your budget itaenda year on year. For the last 3 years, we've been budgeting, and every year, we lose the budget. Every year, without fail. And I can tell you for free, it's not going to come. We will keep budgeting, but every time we come to support that budget, there is nothing to support it with. Because we can't say that our people are actually in sports, they're actually sportiers. Yet we've been told here that's the first way to maintain our mental health, is to be physically healthy. So I'll throw the ball back to us. Let's enroll. I want to see Saturday is a busy line to enroll in Scrabble, in any sports that is there. Let's enroll. So that after that I'll be saying, look, I have people who are sporty and I can justify getting a gym. So for now, Nani is here, Monicah is here. She's offering those services, yoga, aerobics, and all those others. It will be at your cost, I'm sorry, because again, hello? Yeah, we're back to the same discussion. So for now, we can start enrolling in the sporting activities that are available to us. If If there's a sport that you participate in and that is not one of those that are in our list, please collect your team, come, we'll put it in the list. So that we can say, yes, maybe there's a particular sport that people like. But we can replace it with a sport that people want to play. It's okay, it doesn't have to be a particular sport. It's not set in stone. But let's start getting active. Thank you.
There's another one from Kali.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Caleb. I'm in HR, and maybe just to support Maria and pull her from under the bus. That bus is not very big. I can pull her out. We have secured services with the Naivasha Sports Club. It's already paid for. Go there if you play golf. There's a course. Even if you just want to run around the pitch or just sit under the trees and relax and unwind. We have darts, all indoor games. There's provision. There's even basketball. We did a mail to that effect. We already paid. But when you go there, you hardly find people from Kengen, unfortunately. But either way, you'll have to pay for it. I'm not saying I'm above that. But you either pay for the sports club or pay the medical bills. So we're trying to balance out and reduce on the expenditure on medical bills. And hopefully from here, you're going to spread the word to the rest. Make your way to the sports, the Naivasha Sports Club. Identify yourself as Kengen staff. You will be accessed the facility. As we wait for the gym, that one is neither here nor there, but hopefully we shall get there. However, back to what I really wanted to say, thank you very much, our facilitators for the day. Joe, you're a jolly good guy. You let me know that human beings are hired to fail. Very interesting. And therefore, men have to survive. But the main concern is on the success story of Monicah. I don't know how you make it. Presently, we spent lots of money on rehabilitation. Okay, this one should not be shared in public. But then you know what it means. You at the rehab once, twice, and then the elephant in the room relapses. And you have a very successful story. I think they'll agree with me. Even if they did not, it's true, you have a very successful story. What could be the trick? What is it that tips you over the balance such that you avoid relapsing? Or what are the how would I put it? What is it that is likely to lead one to relapse after spending so much? Then he has to go back, or she has to go back to the same old story. Sorry, I would really love to use you as a case study. Thank you.
Thank you. Karibu Monicah for that.
Thank you for that question. Relapse is actually twofold. One can be identified by when the person was in relapse, did he really address his core issues of the reason why he picks up to drink? If those issues are not addressed, relapse is a guarantee. Because then the same issues still persist, if you know what I mean, right? And then the second one is a recovery support system. Alcoholics Anonymous is without doubt what has helped me stay sober. That is mandatory. There is no other way of somebody sustaining recovery if they're not working that 12-step program with a sponsor and checking in on a daily or weekly basis. I've been sober 7 years and I still check in with my sponsor once a week. So it's really important that we, first of all, address the issue, the core issue of why the person self-medicates, and then sustain a recovery system to help him stay sober and doesn't go back to the old behaviors. And then the environment. Like if you're going back to the same environment with your family who you made sick from your addiction, they also have to get recovery. And the support group for them is called Al-Anon. This is for family members so they don't trigger you to go back. Because family members are very good at pointing out your mistakes when you're in your addiction, which is not helpful, right? So when they do that, you have no choice but to go back to your family and to your comfort. So we have to have family recovery as well as a maintenance with a sponsor and work the 12 steps and then really address the core issues of why it is that you drink.
Thank you very much, Monica. Back to you, still at it. What are these red indicators in failed relationships? Why are most people refusing to see the red signs written on the wall? You find somebody in a very abusive relationship, but they're still holding on to. Is there hope there, or what is it they are doing different that you never? What is it that you did different from what people are expected to do for a lasting relationship, or maybe that time to say, "Let me down the tools. It's not working anymore."
That's pretty much individual, right? Because when you're sick in a relationship, the other person, whatever the abuse they're imposing on you, sometimes you don't even realize it. If you have low self-esteem, you'll say, maybe it's something that I did. I'm getting rewarded for what I did wrong. So when you have low self-esteem, you take anything. You get the beating. You don't say anything because you're afraid of leaving the relationship because obviously you're not good enough. So it starts with me as an individual. I have to love me. Love me enough to say, no, I'm not going to take this anymore. And the way to find out who you are is to separate yourself from the situation. Go somewhere, I was sharing earlier, go somewhere, take a few days off, stand with nature, sit with nature, and start taking yourself back to childhood, to days when you were happy, when you did things that made you just feel good about yourself. Start identifying who you are and give yourself the space to answer that question, who am I? Without who I'm being told by either my spouse, my significant other, or my kids. Who am I? Once you figure out who you are, then you start loving that person, because we all come with our, with our ups and downs. Love me as much as I can, just the way I am. And when I accept me, I'm not going to accept anything from anyone else.
Thank you very much. Actually, a few weeks ago, we buried a relative, a very young girl, at the age of 22. She committed suicide, and she left a note citing, I think the boyfriend dumped her for another girl. So I've noticed we have a number of youths in here. I don't know how much they know about love that can make them take their lives. I'm very much concerned because they make a very big number inside here. Maybe some parting shot to them.
Okay, so I've said so many times to love yourself, right? When you know who you are, and you know what you can tolerate and what you cannot tolerate, and it's actually very good to write down what your values are, what you believe in, what you do not believe in. Don't let anyone describe who you are. Don't let anyone give you identity. Connect with your higher power, whom, to me, I choose to call him God. Connect with God. Figure out, why were you created? God, why did you put me here? And we all have our own talents, right? Figure out what that talent is and go for that. And like my peers here said, when you're so busy chasing your dreams, you have no time for anything else. You have no time, basically relationships are two-sided. It's a give and take, right? So what you give out is what you get, right? If you give mouthing off, bad vibes, that's exactly what you're going to get back. So it starts with loving me. When I love myself, all I'm going to give is love. And you can't help but give me back love, right? Yeah, so let's just figure out who we are, right? And be comfortable with who we are. Nurture ourselves so that when we're going around relating with other people, all we're giving out is what's inside, all right? And not allow external circumstances. Maybe Joe has something to
well, on love. No, let me say this. One thing I wish that we could teach our children, one of the most profound lessons you could teach your child, one lesson is dealing with the disappointment. That is only so happy feeding on validation. Invalidation is unacceptable to us. So that is even why we are on social media, to be validated. That if people didn't comment on me, I'm not good enough. Why don't they comment? Do they know how much this hair cost? Do they know this shoe, this Ethiopian shoe? So that we are feeling unnoticed. I only get 4 comments, likes, even nobody comments. And when they comment, if somebody commented something very bad about you, what are you going to do? Dealing with disappointment. That you cannot not only lose that boyfriend, you can even lose money or lose everything and go back to square zero. That is a very important skill. That denial is possible, it can be accepted. That you can accept rejection. When I began motivational speaking, I went to a certain school. I don't want to say the name because it's so real, sorry. I was a bit thin and looking quite hungry. I don't know why, I don't know, or something. And I went to that office. It's a big school. And I was trying to tell the principal that I am such a speaker that if I talk to these guys, they all go to class. And then the guy, as I talked, he looked at me. He didn't say much. He picked his coat and left. Even like, please go, or I don't have time, nothing. He just left. So it is me to decide where to stay. I cannot forget that man. And when we went to the principal's conference in Mombasa, he was the one leading prayers. I almost stood with a standing order. Because, why am I saying this? Because it's a real story that I remember today. Rejection. If I had stopped that day, I wouldn't be sitting here. I went to another school in Longisa. Sorry, I said the name. It's Longisa High School. And the principal told me to walk out of that door. And I walked. And I didn't die. And I'm here. I took a loan I could not pay in 2015 from Rafiki Bank. And when I was speaking in a school called St. Paul, John Paul something in Machakos, they came for the car, the auctioneers. When I'm encouraging people to work hard to succeed, there were guys fetching my car, and I'm told, speaker, your car is being fetched by a breakdown. I have to go and bribe them to wait for me. So that time I walked home instead of driving home. And I cried in the darkness alone. I have dealt with that severely. And I'm here. Are we together? 2019, I gave some other guy money to bring me a nice car now of a speaker. 1.6 million. I had borrowed half of that money from Equity. And he went with all the money. Mtu hata anaachiaga mtu hata kama ni ngiri 5. Alichukua kila kitu. Na alikuwa amekuwa mtu ya kuleta magari, hata leo niletea ingine. Sikuwa na mjaribu, ni mtu wako na kampuni na ananyorosha kazi mzuri. Nilifanya due diligence kwa watu 14, wakaniambia ako sawa before I brought in the first car. People change because they are people. Watu sio wabaya, watu sio wazuri, watu ni watu. Kwa hivyo wewe uko na boyfriend mzuri, sio mzuri ni boyfriend. Usikibie kujinyoka kwa miti, let the trees
bring rain, not kill you. Are we together? Pana kunywa dawa ya panya, wacha panya wakunywa dawa yao. You live longer, because maybe you could even find a better person later. Are we together?
Yes.
You're better living. So deal with disappointment. Sasa hiyo jamaa nikapeleka kwa DCI. Leo DCI walifurahi sana. Sababu nimwabiria mtu ako na pesa. They go now to eat from that because me I'm broke. They know that. That is the guy with the money. They eat the money together. They refused to take him to court even when he was arrested at the airport. And the story adds that I never got the car. And I paid the loan. And I'm here. Niko hapa, I'm around.
Yeah.
Because aliiba gari moja na Japani kuna nyingi zinatengenezwa. Kwani aliiba zote? You have to have that mentality. Otherwise, how many suicides can you commit?
One.
Utacommit suicide gapi? Si moja. Unajua watu wa suicide wanadhaniki ati watacommit alafu warudi wa commit nyingine. Safari ni moja brother, na hiyo sio kwenda Dubai. Hebu kaa hapa na sisi. So deal with disappointment and teach your children to deal with it. Ukiitishwa kitu na mtoto wako, delay even when it is unnecessary to delay. Create patience by force. Niwaulize swali. Kwa gari ni nini ya maana sana? Very good. Ni brakes. Watu wengi walikuwa wanafikiria ni engine. Engine ukikanyaga hiyo gari 150 km/h alafu usikie hakuna brake, ndio utaheshimu brakes. Kwa hivyo mtoto apewe brakes. In such a very chaotic world. Na kama vile Duale alisema sio kwa mama yako. So you have to have brakes. Mambo haitaenda vile unataka kila siku. Utadu brakes. Let's put them in our children by force. Na mwingine alinyang'anywa laptop hivi akajinyonga the same day. Laptop hivi akajinyonga. Nakuru hapa sitaki kusema ni wapi, lakini ni story za ukweli. Mtoto alinyang'anywa simu na brother zake, mtoto wa 11 years akaenda upstairs akajiua. People are not dealing with disappointment. Unapaswa kuachwa mpaka roho yako ikuwe mawe. You have a big stone heart. Ukilia unalia moshi. You are supposed to be, because this life is so tough, man. I don't know what you are going to do. Can you learn how to deal with disappointment? Kuna kitu ngumu kama kuona umelipa mtu pesa yako yote na wanakunywa chai na askari. Na umelipa huyo askari hata ni wa bribe 100,000. Hapana niseme ati mimi ni mzuri sana. Nilibribe 100k wanishikie hiyo jamaa na wakushika. Unadhani walikula ngapi? Sijui kama tunaelewana. Na wakati huo ninapeana pesa, COVID ikaanzia. Na mimi ni motivational speaker. Sasa shida zikaita zingine. Problems never come one. They come in with relatives. So, wewe ujue si ati umemaliza shida, ni zingine zitayarisha zikuje. So you must have some mechanism. Otherwise you die. How many times can you die? You see, death is not sustainable. You cannot die sustainably. You can only die once. So please try to have some shock absorber. Are you together? Unaweza una mtoto wako ni mzuri sana. Deputy Jesus. Na ndio kanajua mianya yote ya shule ya kupotea shule. Si ni kweli? So you can never know what really is going to happen. So it's not easy for anybody. It's never been easy for anyone. I just encourage us. May the Lord help us. Because in your life must move forward. Thank you.
Joel Norman, umesema tukue na roho za Fero. Mkitoka hapa mkue na mioyo ya mawe. Mawe kabisa. Nimeshukuru sana. Any other question as we unwind? Any other?
Just
please.
wanted to add on something.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca.
From Monicah, story of coming out from an abusive. We have a resource maybe we are not using very well as women and men. Nairobi Women Hospital, see, it's on our card. They have a program called Gender Violence and Recovery Center. I don't know if you've heard of it. They handle gender-based violence issues for free. Sometimes you can be in an abusive relationship, umechapwa, or somebody who has been battered. When they go there and they have a therapist, they'll confirm that this person has been abused. They're able to be treated for free. It's a free program, so sometimes you might not know where to refer these children who are being abused. Let them refer them to Nairobi Women Hospital Gender Recovery Center. It is free. You could have been abused by your spouse or any other person. Maybe you do not want Medicare to know that much. Go to Gender Recovery Center, tell them this has been the situation. They'll be able to assist you for free. They'll be able to assist you with if it's lawyers, they can assist you get the right lawyers for the case, report the case, or file the case. So those are some of the situations, probably issues we as women or men go through and you don't know how to go about it. So seek those treatment. Those services are there in Nairobi Women Hospital. You may not, it's for free of charge. Refer somebody, use it for yourself, and I'm sure it can come handy, especially in a situation where we cannot really have to share too much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you. Any other as we wind? Any other? Yes, please.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Grace from the Rigs. I would like to appreciate our speakers for the good forum that we are having. Now, I would like to talk about maybe a department, the drilling department, and about how it connects now with what we are talking about. Most of us maybe don't know what exactly happens currently, and we thank the company that the drilling now it's going outside. We are doing now Ethiopia and the Djibouti, and we thank the company for the efforts that it's making, considering the drilling at our area. It's slowly we have exhausted most of the available resources, but now when these people we are going outside, you see, see wanajeshi. We are not trained as the wanajeshi are trained. When the wanajeshi are being trained, they have a thorough training. They are trained on how to stay away from their families. They are trained on how do you prepare your family when you are going out for many days. And I'm sure most of us have friends who are wanajeshi, and they can attest. The families of wanajeshis, most of them are standing because of this training, and these people have been prepared and they have been shown on how to prepare their families to stay away from them for a long time. Now, sometimes you find you'll go, some people will be out there, but we thank the company that it reduced the days to 42 days in Ethiopia. Initially, it used to be 2 months, and it is a long time for someone who has been with a family throughout from the time umekuwa. Now, you'll find you'll go out, you have not prepared your family on how to budget. Budget. Now you are leaving them with the money, they budget. You have not prepared your wife or your husband on how to stay without you for that period. Someone will come back, na wife ameenda. Ama uko mnaanza issues on phone. Because as times goes, pressure inaenda ikipanda. As times goes, vile tu unakaka 1 week utakuwa sawa, 2 weeks sawa. As you go, pressure inaenda ikipanda, and people start issues. So when you come back, if your family is not stable, you won't be comfortable when working. You won't be comfortable. You won't deliver as you used to deliver when you are going home to your family every other day. So I appreciate the company. It has made so much effort. It's not like the way we started. It has made the effort to be able to accommodate these, because when you come here on off for the days that you are outside, then the days has been reduced to 42 days, which is, to us, it's better. And for the Djibouti, it's 28 days. Now, I don't know whether maybe, Rebecca, there can be an arrangement for the drilling, maybe crew, because the company is not going back on this project, as you can, if you've been following up. It's now checking, looking at Rwanda and such. So we are not stopping this project. So the company maybe, or you guys, can consider having talks or arranged talks for people, especially going outside for long. How do you prepare yourself? How do you prepare your family? How are you able to cope so that whenever you have a stable family, you will deliver better in your work? I don't know, maybe, and there is the geology department that is connected, and there are other sections which are connected to this drilling that we go with. So I think it's really important, because if a supervisor asks you to go and you say no, they need the reasons. Why don't you want to go? And you see, some of these reasons are really private. Maybe you've tried it before and it backfired on you. You see? Yeah, I know I'm talking on behalf of many other drilling people who are here or who are not here, but it happens. And we have seen these things, and I think it is good to be taken care of.
Karibu Rebecca for the pre and post travel advice.
I think that is a very important point brought forward. For me, for now, I think what I can say is that we'll do our best to partner with the right people, as you see, and start providing those services. I don't think there's any other way around it, so that we can be able to see how we can give assistance, maybe coming together, coming up with new ideas on how we can go about it, and so we can manage it better. As you say, it's improved. So we are trying now with this aspect, just trying to make it way better. So I think I'll just say I've noted that, and I will definitely follow up on that to see how we can assist.
Thank you, Rebecca, for that. I hope, Grace, you are partly answered. I'm sure she will pick it up with the management so that more productivity can be seen. I think because of time, we are going to, or somebody has a burning issue at the office is still there, and I know once you give out your concerns, they'll be addressed. They are capacitated to address the burning issues. Now, let me take it back to Ndinda for a vote of thanks, and then don't go. We still have a tree to plant to commemorate this day. So, karibu sana Waijen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caroline. And Grace, thank you so much for your question. I want to commit that we as YGen and Pink, we are going to follow up on that issue. We are really focused on ensuring that everybody thrives. It has to be an holistic approach. That said, I'm here to give the vote of thanks. And as you remembered when we started, we were talking about the intergenerational solidarity. And as you can see from the discussions that we've had, the questions that have come up, it's very clear this aspect of mental health is touching upon us in various ways. Cindy, yeah. Before I give my thanks. I just want to make two announcements. Next week will be the Youth Week all over the company. And on Monday, the 26th, there will be virtual talk on parenting. So I think, as Rebecca and the rest of the panelists had said, let us take advantage of all the resources that are available to us. So look out for the emails and the links, and make sure you join. That's one. And then on Wednesday, it's still mid-morning, they'll have a career discussion. So I do know we have a few attaches with us. So I would encourage the supervisors. These are very important topics for them to also understand. So make the link available, or you just make sure they can also access the discussion. So that said, I am very honored and humbled to give a vote of thanks to our panelists, Madam Monicah, Mr. Joe, and Rebecca, for coming today all the way, for sharing not just your experience, but your journey. I think in every different scenario that we've had, we could relate it to something. So we are most grateful, and we look forward to walking the journey with you. You're all accessible to us in various capacity. So we are looking forward to a continuous partnership. Secondly, I would like to thank the management. We can see Marie is not here, but I'm sure HR is here, Caleb and Tim, for the time, also for the resources, for also giving us these platforms that makes us have the discussions that we are looking to have in silence. And then thirdly, I want to thank you for coming. I know it's, you have to readjust your schedule to be here, but being here and being bold enough to ask your questions and laugh and, you know, just relate to the discussion makes all the difference. And it is my hope that you're going out as ambassadors. Spread the message. Make it normal for people to seek help. There's no and it should be part of our day-to-day life. Then I would also like to thank Caroline. You've been a wonderful MC. Thank you so much. I want to thank Dr. Anna. She's my partner in crime, and we have been hustling for this event. So thank you for being such a wonderful co-host. And above all, I thank God for life and for the time that we've had. I just hope that you have one thing that is going to make a difference in your life. So that said, I'd like to request that you stand and we give our guest a hearty clap, hand it back to Carol to lead us in the system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jen. And for that, we are here to do, you know, we failed to do a standing ovation for them, surely. These guys, wamejitoa. Actually, Monicah, where can you find you in Kwamuya? Where exactly? Oh, Syrian residents. Or Leserian residents. You've got it right. And Joe, you are wonderful. Hey, hiyo imetuambia kumbe phrase yenye tunasema what a man can do, a woman can do best. Ai, huyu is something. Sindio, if I were HR, I would have said akuwe hired. Ile place ambaye Rebecca amesema iko void kidogo. But thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. Now, tutayarishe mikono na misuli. Mikono, tunafanya 5. Si ndivyo? 5 moto. Actually, we are making umeme. So sijui tuifanye ikuwe ngapi? Wacha ikuwe tu 5 ya umeme. Strong one, bold. And you do it as if you mean it. Ni kama tuta clap tena. Si ndivyo? Haya, tayarisha kabisa. Kabisa na moyo yako. Weka emotions zako zote hapo. Ukifikiria yale yote wametufundisha, si ndivyo? Si tumefurahi. Wanasema you mind what matters, and they are here to mind what matters with us. So tutayarishe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 na Jameni. Thank you. Thank you. I think for that, tunashukuru sana. We are still having you as we are going to plant the tree outside there. And the books are available. Sio price ni manageable. 200 hivi. Wacha kununua bundles ya huko online. Buy something that will build you. Na iko snack. Don't go. Tukimalizana kupanda miti, tunachukua vitabu as we are doing a snack together, and then tuko na photo. Usiende bila. Alafu tuende tukapost pale Joe ametuambia tusiende, si ndio? So that people can know that we are very important, and you tweet. You know, you must be ambassadors even of the company. Thank you very much. We started with a prayer. We must end with a prayer. Can I pick one? We started with a prayer. Karibu mwali. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Okay, let us pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we thank you for this day. We thank you, Lord, for our speakers, oh Lord. We thank you for the time they've taken to explain these things to us. We bless your name for them. We pray, Lord, that our lives may never be the same again, Heavenly Father. Father, we thank you even for all of us who've attended. We pray that you're going to help us to implement what we've been taught. Father, we bless your name and we honor you. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen.
Thank you. As we go in.